Hello everyone and welcome back to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, this time with the second official chapter, The Two Towers, released in 2002 at the tail end, 5 December 1st in New York City, and with a budget of 94 million, grossing 926 million, almost 10 times.
Oh boy, that's a lot of damage!
Like, believe it or not, well, okay, I'll say this after we start considering the movie as long as it is. So start before the New Line Cinema logo in 3, 2, 1, click. I think I mentioned this already in the first movie, but this is the movie that I saw the most in theaters, and the movie that I saw in theaters in general the most. 7
Once again,
times.
Really?
Once again,
You must have
the extended version.
You must have,
it will be in the title of the video.
You must have really liked this movie then.
Yes and no. When it came out, I actually liked it. The viewing it multiple times was mostly coincidental because, like, it was one time it was with a group, another time with another, then I went with my family, then with another part of my family, and so on and so on. But honestly, after reading the books, this is at least the weakest to me. I still, like I said, overall love the trilogy as a whole, but this one is the one where Jackson shits the bed and adapts a lot of things in a very weird way.
Let me guess, he adds stuff that's from the third book into this.
Visit New Zealand!
Oh yeah. Need to remind you folks, these movies help put New Zealand as a filming location on the map.
Yeah, not even joking. New Zealand pretty much became a tourist attraction just for these movies alone.
And interestingly enough, a year after this film came out, they started filming Power Rangers there.
Not surprised.
And they still do to this day.
So, yeah,
there we go, quoting the ever-famous line, "You cannot pass."
Yeah, you were starting with a flashback of sorts, from where you were in Moria. If you can see the lake like there. So we're basically seeing from the perspective outside of a mountain.
And if you look to the right, you will see a giant mountain.
This in the book is something that it's mostly told at the midway point. But it's a good way to introduce the movie. Jackson had this idea of having the movie being, not starting immediately, but having something smally, like one of the appendages, stuff like that, in order to help with the pace.
Guess it makes sense. Even though these films were back to back, year by year by year, you still wanted fans to remember stuff. This was before the internet had blossomed, so unless you had purchased a DVD copy of this at the time, chances were you might forget some of the details.
Oh, well, Gandalf is totally dead, guys.
I'll admit when I first...
You idiots!
No, but you're being held down by the creature!
So just grab me then, at least put in some fucking effort.
I don't have the strength!
Time to see what happened when Gandalf actually fell.
He totally died from the fall. Or maybe not? How much longer is this fall going to take me? Oh, screw it, I'll do it myself!
He really goes Superman like this.
That's right, he didn't go down like a wuss. He took that sword, plunged downward, and hacked into that beast like it was hot butter.
Gandalf. He was gonna kick your ass. Also, I know what you're thinking, but Gandalf said in the first movie that swords were useless against the Balrog. That's something that the movie doesn't really explain, but Gandalf's sword is pretty much magical, made by elves and shit.
Yeah. And besides, it's Gandalf. He's a bit...
You wanna know how he gets it? Watch the Hobbits movies.
God help your soul. Oh, well, then again, I guess, to be fair, the Hobbits movies don't have that high frame rate holding them back anymore.
I couldn't even finish the first one. What hope do you think I have of watching all three?
Oh, is the high frame rate that bad?
Good luck when we actually get to them.
No, Jover. I had, again, like you said, I had the advantage that I watched the regular versions.
Boom.
Sorry, by regular, I mean the extended versions that weren't high frame rates.
Kind of like the fact that the movie passed it out as, was it a dream? Or maybe.
It's nice to know that there was a convenient pool of water down there to crash into.
Well, if you're falling that fast and that far, even at that height, it's like hitting ground.
And as previously, let me tell you where exactly the extended cut adds things. Like here, this beginning sequence in the Imi a set of rocky formations, is slightly extended, complete with the beginning where the title drops.
I guess it's a nice addition to show Frollo finally doing
Frodo and
something on his
Sam.
own.
Not just that, it reinforces with the bromance between Frodo and Sam.
You know, I get that you're hobbits, guys, but is walking barefoot really practical?
Well, it works for Rapunzel, Jova, so why not? Not to mention, hobbits. You have to understand that in terms of the mythology of the world and everything, hobbits' feet are slightly bigger in terms of even proportions, and more resistant, quote unquote, on their feet surface.
They would definitely need to be, otherwise they'd be
And
in a
the
world
hairy
of
bit,
hurt.
and the hairy bit of the foot, it's useful to have them always warm.
Yeah,
Biologically,
I'm sure
why
you'll
is
find
there
roast chicken in the middle of a cliff.
Well, maybe
Also-
there's a bird.
Also, that's a very tiny bit of roast chicken.
No, it's actually salt just to cook it.
Of course.
It's for the seasoning.
Yeah. Not simply salt, it's just like a mixture.
Anyway, this film is actually my favourite of the three.
Really?
Mainly because it doesn't have to deal with all the long setup of the first film, and it doesn't have the long bloated endings of the third one.
Huh, so in a way, it's in the middle of the book for you.
Yeah, where all the exciting stuff happens. Yep. No, I know.
Wah, wah.
Let's see. When it,
Poor
Well,
Sam.
Oh, okay. Granted, it's better to have pulled on it and tested it instead of climbing up and then falling down.
gotta say,
Yeah.
it's going to be quite a tough way to get back home all this way at this rate.
Well, they just remember
get
this
the
is just
Eagles.
one route they could keep. Theoretically, remember what Boromir said? They could have easily passed through the breach of Rohan and then go through Gondor as well. So basically, ideally, that's the way back home, which in the book is kind of what we do. Fantastic. Great way to begin your journey, guys, in the movie.
I mean, and gee, and I thought the Fellowship of the Ring had a disastrous end.
Not just that, Frodo, starting to regret the fact that he had to go alone.
Yeah, like, maybe this wasn't a good idea. Like, I know one of the fellows... What?
No touchy, Sauron, please.
Yeah, unfortunately, this film does kind of continue. That, in my opinion, I think they kind of overdo Frodo's helplessness.
Which is, again,
Yeah,
a weird
I
thing, seeing as how he
agree.
wasn't this helpless in the books.
No, even the Badass Bashki adaptation understood it of Frodo. Yes, he's technically weighed down by the ring by each single day, but that doesn't have to make him a wuss.
Let me put it like this.
I mean, in terms of films that kind of overdo a selling point that came out in the year 2002, I don't think it was as bad as say Die Another Day, when that kind of overdid the 40th anniversary thing.
Is that the one with Halle Berry in it?
Yeah.
Wait, those Pierce Brosnan and James Bond whine in that movie?
No. The Brosnan whining was a scene in the film that came before it.
Also, what year was instead Spider-Man 3?
Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
2006, I believe.
2007.
Oh, 7, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right, 2007. That was the year of prequels, because we had...
And yes, also this scene with the clearly fake rain was also added in the extended cut, just to foreshadow slightly what's going to happen in 5 minutes. So
Peter
this
Jackson
one I
got out his
understand why it
hose
was.
and sprayed it.
So this one I understand why it was cut away. It was really relatively pointless.
But did you see, guys? Peter Jackson wanted to hose the actor.
That's quite some
He's
method
a naughty
acting.
boy.
Yeah, you're all dirty. I'm gonna give you a soak.
Well, after such a journey, they'd definitely be dirty.
It's kind of hilarious considering, according to interviews with the actors who played the hobbits, in order to replicate the feat, complete with the hair and everything, they had to stay on foot, immersed in collagen for like 2 hours straight.
So yeah, we're effectively going in circles. Where do we go from here?
Well,
Okay,
maybe help
one
can
thing
come
this
from a
film
more
does
unexpected way.
One thing this film does get rid of is the awkward close-ups of actors' faces.
That was weird in the first film.
And here we go. Time for Andy Serkis to start his takeover of Hollywood, essentially.
Yes. Before this film, Andy Serkis was a name in the Hollywood, but not the juggernaut of a name he is now. Following this film series, Andy Serkis was the go-to guy for anything involving CGI, and he was still a pretty gosh dang actor even without, too.
Gotta say,
Yeah,
I
he
think...
would later go on
Sorry.
to be famous for playing the role of the lead ape in the recent
Planet of the Apes,
trilogy,
yeah.
and now he's directing Venom 2.
Wait, he's directing Venom? Well, okay, I guess to be fair, if anyone can direct a CGI captured sort of movie,
Gotta
it's
say,
him.
the CGI for Gollum ages surprisingly well.
Definitely. Well, that's sort of the effects in general for this movie.
Yeah, now remember, this is an early 2000 movie. By all accounts, this should be awful.
Yeah, like, remember, we had stuff like X-Men, which hasn't aged as gracefully. We had stuff like
And,
Spider-Man, which hasn't aged...
Hell, the same year this came out, like Dover said, we had Spider-Man, Scooby-Doo, and the Scooby-Doo movie only cost like 10 million less to make.
Did they actually use the Industrial Light and Magic from Fox?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Golem's a biter.
Yeah, to each their own kink, I guess.
Look at this. The only badass thing Frodo does in this whole series.
Yeah.
Well, there is that other...
And Reeves, that's because it's taken from an illustration of the book. So basically, Jackson had his own style with this. What you were saying about the close-ups?
They were they were a bit too frequent, and sometimes they weren't even necessary.
No, I mean you were saying like we already got already a couple of them.
Well, that was meant to be freaky, and the close-ups in the other one were stuff that wasn't meant to be scary.
Okay, this one is a bit played by exaggeration because the idea is that being tainted by the ring now, Gollum is being affected by the Elvish rope, but this one I never got. It's even in the book, I even got that here.
I guess Elvish magic goes against the ring.
I suppose, but... Oh yeah, basically now it's gonna start a sitcom trend, for lack of a better term. Basically, Gollum and Sam will have this constant bickering like an old couple, married couple, basically.
And Sam is obviously right, but Frodo is incredibly stupid.
Yeah, I
Constantly
never
trusts
got that
Gollum,
either.
even though he's been acting like he bit Sam.
That's the thing. This is completely made up for the movie. And it's gonna bite you in the ass in Return of the King as well.
How'd it go in the book?
It just happens. Frodo and Sam just roll with it, but they maintain their opinion. I will go more in detail about it, but the whole breakout thing that happens in Return of the King, that's not in the book.
Oh,
they both go into Shellow's nest.
Ah, yes, the ever too famous words from Gollum, my precious.
And the fact that he got his name from the way he had asthma, I guess. It's kind of also funny to mention because in the Italian dub, Sam is voiced by the same young person who voiced characters like Inuyasha or Aladdin.
Really?
So when he starts yelling, he immediately outs himself for those kind of roles.
Amazing.
So yeah, we have, thanks to Gollum, we have our ticket out of the Mimuil.
And so we have our three sitcom characters.
And
Sam,
this marriage
smart,
being saved.
Frodo, the well-meaning but dumb, and Gollum, the obvious villain.
Okay, Frodo, I get that he can help you, but was that really the wisest thing to do? Maybe
it's almost as if, that's the thing, Joe, it's almost as if the editor knows, because this scene that we're seeing right now, that was cut away from the theatrical cut, basically ponders the same question to you, because you get this scene where Gollum almost abandons them and creates doves, but then the movie immediately shrugs off and says, nah, let's just move on. I mean, the real purpose of the scene is supposedly foreshadowing the split personality that Gollum has, but to be honest, it's kind of pointless. The movie will do a fine enough job. So again, is another scene that was cut away, but I understand why.
Okay, maybe it's because I'm watching this in HD, but there's times where Gollum does kind of stick out.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Again, please remember 2002. For being mock-capped in early 2000 again, it's more surprising that it's only like a couple of moments where it does stick out. I think these were still the years of where the Donkey Kong Country cartoon was around.
Aw, isn't that nice? Even though he's obviously insane, he came back.
And now we cut back instead to storyline number 2. What Merry and Pippi are doing after being captured by the... Now, a thing that the movie doesn't tell is that after the death of Lourdes, another uruk-hai has taken command, Ugluk, this guy. And this scene that was cut away instead introduces a band of orcs that then unites with the uruk-hais. This is sort of important instead because in the movie, they just go around and then when we cut to the Fangorn, the forest scene, they're just a bunch of orcs hanging out with them for no reason.
Of course.
So this scene, I think, actually should have been in the theatrical cut.
Well, be thankful there's a version that has it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the extended version is pretty much considered the definitive version.
Also, fun trivia, time for some more enforced method acting. Oh, yes. In order for some method acting, Jackson thought it was funny to actually give Mary's actor actual terrible beverage, to the point that apparently the actor actually vomited and passed out during takes.
Wow.
That's so charming.
Oh, goody. Enforced method acting.
Okay, normally that comes from the actor, not...
Not just that. That's the thing with even when some director do it, like Ridley Scott in Alien, for example. This is kind of unprecedented and not really in a good way.
Basically, Dibs, enforced method acting isn't usually inducted by the actor, but it's usually done by the director.
Giving a surprise, essentially.
For example, in stuff like The Neverending Story, you know that bit where Nork pounces Atreyu? Yeah, the boy didn't know that the animatronic was going to pounce him, and he nearly lost an eye during that.
Yeah.
Or even better, in that scene during Jaws 2, there was actually a scene where the cast is being menaced by the shark. Unfortunately, real sharks actually came by, but the film crew had no idea, so when the actors were screaming for help, the film crew just flashed them a thumbs up thinking that they were doing a good job.
And there you go, Pippin leaves something that could lead to their direction.
Clever.
And now it's time for Aragorn being basically Black Batman, the world's greatest detective. Not even kidding. During this first third of the movie, Aragorn is gonna act essentially like Batman, finding clues and running around. Also, unfortunately, this is also the point where Gimli starts to become the comic relief of the movies, and for the bad way.
John Rhys Davies. Oh, he was in a Bond movie before this.
Yeah, he also was in Anaconda 3 and 4. Oh, you know. Yeah, gotta get the helicopter shot. I mean, it's kind of a shame because this whole... Gimli already was slightly comic relief in the first movie, but here and in Return of the King is very flanderized, and you will see that... even not too long from now.
I mean, he's still good in a fight. It's just...
he manages to kick ass at the very least. This also starts the supposed bromance with Legolas, which has also a nice payoff, but I reserve that for the ending of Return of the King.
Aww.
I mean, that's actually true. Doors are not meant to run that fast. So
for obvious reasons.
It's all detailed. It's all detailed.
Isn't there a meme coming up soon?
Which one?
Yeah. Yes. Actually, yes. From Legolas. So yeah, this also is exposure to the lands of Rohan. This was supposed to be a Gondor province, but later was given to its own occupant. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. To me, northwest.
It's kind of funny to have seen the Italian abridged series of Lord of the Rings. The punchline is very Aragorn asking, "What do your allies see?" And he's saying, and Legolas is like, "The same way your eyes see. What the fuck do you think?"
Okay, one thing that the unusual suspect pointed out in his review is that they kind of screwed up the direction. Apparently, it's supposed to be northwest.
Yeah.
Oops. Sauron and
We have a
Saruman.
title.
No wonder Sauron was okay with Saruman. Their names are so similar.
And they also have fancy, huge black towers.
Oh yeah, Saruman, are you still locked in there?
Yeah.
Okay, what about...
That eye is still keeping me interesting. I wonder what he's made of.
Okay, there is... Okay, they say Middle Earth a lot, as I said.
Yeah.
About Top Earth and Bottom Earth.
It's all explained in the Silmarillion, basically.
What?
The first of basically the also this particular bit it's also in the book but not played this much and I kind of get the feeling why Tolkien wrote it like because this is basically played similar to the Industrial Revolution where the nature is being given away to metallurgy, construction technology, which is essentially what Saruman is doing and Tolkien views it as a perversion of nature. Here's the thing. A thing that I will point out also later, Tolkien, when he wrote the book around, was a soldier, a British soldier in World War One. He was seeing what he thought was the end of the world with huge machinery and everything. I can kind of see where he was coming from. Also, this small scene was also added to justify Saruman going to turn his attention to Fangorn.
You seem so enthusiastic.
And also this one, also to pledge allegiance to what is a plot point, but in the book, as a story arc, but in the movie just stops. Saruman aligned himself with the Dunlandians, people who were basically brigands, people who were ejected from the king of Rohan and turned themselves to a life of thieves and pillagers. So basically Saruman turned the attention to them and have them spread in chaos. That's nice enough. The thing is, in the book, they do that, but also eventually join the Uruk-hai army and keep also in the final fight that they have Deep. But pretty much after these scenes, they just went away from the movie.
So basically, he gathered a bunch of Hagrid soldiers.
Pretty much. Can you imagine this mass of people running around? You're a wizard! You're a wizard! Oh, shut up, Killjoy.
No, you won't.
Oh.
Guys, place your bet. How will they reunite with their mum?
I'll just say this. If I happen to come back to you as a flaming corpse, please don't be surprised.
The answer may surprise you.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, about like a year and a half.
Not to mention, you think this scene will just be there just to establish me, but believe it or not, this is a Chekhov's gun.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another small edit scene. Yeah, Two Towers actually has a lot of small edit scene for the extended cut that serves to sort of justify more one of our character reaching then at the Palace of Edoras. There you go. This is oh god, Eomer, Marshal of the Riddenmark. Let me check who plays him just to be sure.
Carl Urban?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl Urban. He's a native New Zealander, I believe, and he would go on.
And just like the other movies, this one pretty much propelled his career.
Yeah. But for how long?
Hopefully he should be alive long enough.
Basically, you think it would be his role is actually interesting. You think he would be the prince equivalent of Rohan, but surprisingly, he's not. He is the nephew of the king, not the direct son. What he found is actually the son, and this is Erwin.
Oh, goody!
I don't like the character in the book, and I don't like her in the movie. No offense to the actress, but I just can't stand her.
So why don't you like the character in the book?
For the story arc that she has, it's practically the same. It's just
that one.
this is also to represent that things at in the Palace of Rohan in Edoras haven't gone really well. Apparently, the king, which is by the way the captain of the Titanic, not even kidding, looks really worse for wear.
Hey guys, it's Chucky.
Don't you mean that scientist in Alien Resurrection?
Ah,
Yeah,
Brad
Chucky.
Dourif. He is a special customer
He's
here.
kind of fitting for the role, considering how awkward his acting usually is.
But yeah, Lord of the Rings really has quite the cast at hand.
Oh, it really is. It's especially hilarious in hindsight, basically. Da-da-da. Also, there's also another thing. This is the first time we see it in this movie, so the Court of Edoras and everything. But there was an entire piece from Fellowship of the Ring that was cut away, where Gandalf first reaches here and talks with Theoden, but he's still already being in the process of being mind controlled, which was supposedly in the book for foreshadowing to the events of here. I'd say that it's still fine enough what they did with the movie, but it does cut away a slight plot point for later. What you need to know now is that Grima is not exactly good. Gee, the guy who looks pale, sick, and everything is not a good guy.
He's called Grima Wormtongue.
And he's also lusting for Ellie. What a charming person.
As charming as the snakes out back. You know what he looks like? He looks like a prototype for Derma from Aragon. And again,
Durza.
considering how much... Yeah, Durza. Then again,
Dude,
considering...
the Aragon is pretty much a rip-off, so yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this scene was slightly altered. Surprisingly enough, it's actually more elegant than what it was like, to justify what Grima is doing. Grima essentially exiling Elmer, but also with a sort of clause. Yeah, basically, in the original cut, it just stops before saying this. So people thought, wait, with what authority?
Yeah, great signature, eh?
It's like one of those kids that fake their signature of their parents at school.
Yeah, okay. What does that mean exactly? Under pain of death. If he goes back, he's dead.
Pretty much.
Okay, so
Here's
he's
the-
banished, and but apparently he's still on. What's the kingdom's name again? Crap, I've forgotten.
Rohan.
But yet he's still kind of in Rohan when we next see him, and he's still alive.
That's the thing, Dweebs. He's an outlaw, technically, so he's trying to not get caught. He's treated kind of like a Western cowboy outlaw.
Mm-hmm. He's technically the good guy, but the public don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
Also, Legolas, just a question. Why do you have to run with your bow in hand? You can rest it on your back.
You can never
What if
be
he
too
needs-
careful. There could be
What if he
anyone
needs it?
in this open field just waiting to snipe us.
Yeah, he might need it.
Oh, wait, now he has it on his back. Huh.
And here we go. In the original cut of the movie, then you're like, wait, why do we have to rest? Because the Uruks don't need to, and why do we have orcs sailing around? So,
Here they
This was
stop
for the-
because they're knackered.
yeah.
I guess orcs can get tired.
Gee, you think, Mary?
Ow, 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 ow.
That's for later, Dweebs.
Hey, well, they're foreshadowing it, so yeah, what they said, yeah. So there's no need to do that.
This whole thing that Mary is also saying in the is actually was a throwaway line in appendages of the book. So this is actually one way to elegantly added something without being too intrusive. It's all connected to the whole lore of the world of Middle-earth and what it says in the Silmarillion, so I'm not going to bother too much telling you.
Honestly, though, I'm not really a big fan of the trees.
Yeah.
It's the way he talks. It's funny.
Orc lives matter, after all.
Coochie.
You know, why haven't we fought into eating them already anyway?
Because there are prisoners and Saruman wants them.
Right, yeah. Saruman wants the comic relief that it are no way going to end up escaping and killing us later.
Also, this is Grishnak. We don't name drop it, of course, but he's also the hero work. We actually saw him before in the cut scene.
Yeah, what he just said. Your master's orders.
So yeah,
At least eat their hand.
this small bit also was added to also justify why the Uruks will take them to Isengard, but could have lived also without it. But it's nice also to add some more rivalry between the Uruks and the Orcs. So
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're gonna eat the guy who's just decapitated.
which that phrase also became a meme for many situations tied to it.
Dang.
So yeah, this also serves to show that orcs are not really picky as eaters. They could eat everything, even each other.
They're so hungry that they're willing to eat their master as opposed to, you know, take care of them. You moron! You're letting our prisoners get away as you eat me!
Also, here is it's about in a second you'll see an actual directing error. Pay attention to Pippi's hands.
Well, the tied up ones.
Yeah. Keep checking them in the shots.
Yeah, they just come apart.
What the hell?
Yeah, in that shot he doesn't have them tied anymore.
Whoopsie!
Jackson, did you not? Who was the editor of this?
An editor.
Whoops! That's a big whoops.
I mean, this is the
Michael
extended
Horton.
version.
There you go. Michael, sorry, you should have reminded Jackson to do another cut.
Yeah, this is the extended version. Do you think they could have caught that?
Who knows?
Oh, we're half an hour in already.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we've got over 3 hours left to
Well,
go.
that's the thing, Lives. Again, that's just a statement also how the pace flows decently.
Yeah, I mean, despite being long, honest.
Well paced.
Like, this is a giant movie with a gajillion story arcs intertwined together, and yet it manages to feel so organic.
This is definitely from when Jackson was in his prime. Like, for as long as these movies were, you don't really feel that length.
Again, it's kind of a miracle how this series turned out to be. It was a genre that was considered box office poison and was treating a topic so big and complex that would have been a nightmare for everyone else. But Jackson's fanboy boner managed to at least accomplish something.
Which is interesting because 2 years prior, New Line Cinema, the same company that did these movies,
was doing the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, that was a major flaw.
And yet somehow that movie got 2 sequels.
Not to mention again, the same fan boner didn't manage to help Jackson when he came to King Kong, because I did check after we did the commentary. The fact that Jackson was extremely meticulous in referencing the old movies and stuff like that. But even then couldn't save it.
Honestly, I think the best King Kong movie was the 1980s one.
Yeah, the one that I watched.
Yeah. Yes, folks, there was actually a King Kong movie in between the classic and the new one. Well, and before the newest one. There's even a ride in Universal based off of it called Kongfrontation.
Yeah. Though the original King Kong costume is held here in my country, Jova. For that movie.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I think we got it because the puppeteer was Italian, Carlo Rambaldi.
Huh. Nice.
But anyway, There you go. Eomer just explained what we needed to know. The fact that supposedly Saruman is poisoning the mind of the king.
But some description, though, he walks here and there, they say. Yeah, just like everyone else.
He does it with such fragrance, though.
I mean, just because he's played by Christopher Lee doesn't change the fact that he walks.
Are you
He
sure
is
about that?
Christopher Lee Dwibs. He could be a vampire.
Okay, or he could be a vampire hunter, depending on the movie.
Or a Sith Lord.
Or a
I think
heavy
you're right to
metal
say he was
player.
back and forth. Yeah, he was actually in a heavy metal band as a singer.
The Rhapsody of Fire, an Italian one, actually.
Wow.
So yeah, oh no, I can't believe Merry and Pippin are totally dead.
Totally.
Now, I don't remember exactly how this is played in the book, but I definitely remember that it doesn't fake out. It does the fake out, like, oh, are Merry and Pippin actually dead or not? I don't think it does it like that.
I mean, that's the thing about this movie. It's like, well, so far in this movie, we've never have had characters die off screen like this, so immediately the audience would be suspicious. And it kind of really doesn't make much sense why bother to even.
I thought you were going to say, Jova, they just died, and I was going to correct you, say, but Jova, Sean Bean died, but then I was like, oh yeah, speaking of. Except Sean Bean hasn't died recently, so.
Yeah.
Well, they had to break the trend.
I mean, apparently.
And they
apparently
broke it with
even said he
pixels
got-
of all. Well, actually.
Apparently, Sean Bean said he got fed up with his characters dying. So
Honestly, I can understand.
You want to know what's weird? One of the few times he didn't die back in the day when dying was his trend was in a Snow White movie where he plays the king who's supposed to die.
What a charming sight. Oh, and here we go. This is another moment of, well, not enforced method acting. Yeah, sort of method acting. Let's just say that the Jackson did a couple of takes, but he kept this one for a very specific reason.
Okay.
Just the way, Jonah. So, of course, these manifest a different emotions.
Can I describe this one?
Oh, yes, go.
What happened there was Viggo Mortensen kicked the helmet, not knowing it was actually metal.
Ooh.
And he broke two toes.
He broke a couple of his toes, so he channeled his scream of pain into that little bit of acting there.
And that's the cut they kept.
Yes.
I hope
honestly,
it was worth those broken bones.
It's kind of amazing.
Look at the way his face is wincing.
Yeah. And also here, and there you go. He keeps doing. He now is doing Batman again and reconstructing the scene crime. Seriously.
How's he able to do that? All the
that's because remember what he said in the first movie. He's a ranger, so he knows how to analyze the terrain.
I thought all the evidence would have been blown away, or hell, rained away because there was rain earlier. Cut. They just came off.
No, he actually did solve them away, but they took him away from Mary. So.
Pippin, no, maybe the orcs are just really bad rope ties.
Well, will that surprise you?
Well, they stopped because they know they're exhausted
and hungry enough to eat their leader.
Second breakfast. Also, Jesus Christ, Grishnak, would you fucking die already?
He's too stubborn to die.
So there you go. The suspension that you had about the Hobbit dying 5 minutes ago, already gone. What was the point of that?
I'd say suspense, but...
Wanted to establish the bloody trees.
What, is the Lorax gonna be a character in here too?
Oh,
kind of.
The Lorax movie came out 10 years after this, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason, the trees always bothered me. It's the way they talked and all that.
Oh my god, you seriously cannot die.
Well, hey, this orc should have been a general or something. He's so determined to catch.
And he was the commander of his unit, so...
Yeah, he was.
Give him a raise if he survives.
Why? Well, what do they pay him in, though, Jonah?
There is a currency in Mordor, Dweebs. It's more expanded, more talked about in the Middle-earth Shadow of X games. The duology.
Don't say that. See?
Whoopsie.
Seriously, with these fake outs.
How are you still alive? I have no idea.
But turns out the trees have eyes and they can talk.
Goodness
reaction.
me.
Oh!
Yeah. To be honest, Alan Rickman's reaction in Die Hard 1 when he falls is still, uncomparable. So.
And now he's finally
And
dead.
yeah,
Bonk.
finally he dies.
Are you sure? Maybe he'll
Are
regenerate
you
from
sure
that.
about
Not a Time Lord, Jim.
Would you really be surprised considering what he survived?
So yeah, this is Treebeard, which is also voiced by John Rhys Davies. This is a huge can of worms.
To pad out the runtime.
This is a huge can of worm that I wish the movie actually bothered explaining, because the Ents have such a long and complicated backstory that they needed to at least be told partially here. But unfortunately, they do a very sloppy job.
I love how he says he's not a tree, he's an ant, even though
That's
he's...
because that is actually correct. The ants are in reality just giants that have a tree appearance because they're so slow and live so much with the trees that they started looking like them. But we're not trees.
Huh. We just speak for them.
Oh no. Bad touch.
We look
Literally.
nothing like orcs.
You have very good disguises.
That would be some bloody
Also,
bloody
Jackson,
magic.
I don't want a shot of Treebeard's crotch, so please could you move away the camera?
Imagine eating your popcorn while seeing that.
Ew.
Maybe they aren't. Look at them.
Well, just to be safe, we
Here's the
must-
thing, ants are kind of out of touch with reality. They're like
Okay, these
huge shut-ins.
This is another reason why I don't like why I don't like the trees. They're so bloody stupid.
Oh no, unfortunately the end thinks that the White Wizard will know.
Oh my god, it's
But wait.
Wanna know how to keep a plot point in suspense?
Cut away to the next scene. It's totally close. Just... Hey, now it's just a straight walk ahead.
no, don't go that way.
Though,
Why
unfortunately, the
not?
terrain is not gonna improve, even though it's gonna change. So instead, we replace the meme wheel, a rocky formation, with a swamp. Cue
Hello
the
and
Shrek
welcome.
jokes.
Welcome to Death Stranding 16 years prior. We have to hey, we have to walk on rocky terrain and we have to deliver something to a destination.
Well,
Please
it's not a
refrain.
huge cargo. And
Please-
to be fair, we're also dealing with the souls of the dead, so you're not too far off, Dweebs.
Please refrain from being sad. It'll drag you down.
The only point of life is death.
Shut up, Artex.
But yeah, it kind of, even though it doesn't function literally like that way, as Gollum said, the swamps are not the ideal terrain for marching, so that's why the orc don't use this way.
Alright, again, to be clear, the audio isn't coming.
No.
Nah.
There's this small added scene to establish that Gollum doesn't like eating the elf and the med, which can be considered foreshadowing for the Return of the King, but considering this whole plot point is tied to that, and I'll say more when we get to that, I'm okay that this was cut away as well.
A worm. Well,
Tasty.
yeah, we'll feast on that.
Welcome to God damn it, I forgot the name. Bear Grylls, there you go. Welcome to Bear Grylls Survivor.
Oh yeah, Bear Grylls. They made a Netflix game about him recently.
Really?
Yeah. But you're... spoilers.
Yeah, Sam is not really amused.
Well, I'm not either. I mean, look at him. Does Gollum look like a guy you can trust?
Well, that snake oil guy seemed ever so
You know,
trustworthy, so I'm
one
sure I could trust Gollum.
thing I remember Andy Serkis in was that he was in something before Lord of the Rings. He played Bill Sykes in the ITV version of Oliver Twist.
Oh, was he the
Oh.
incredibly sinister Bill Sykes?
Yeah, the Bill Sykes that it was a cold-blooded. Well, Bill Sykes is always a cold-blooded prick.
Douche.
I think this is
Yeah.
the version where he murders that woman to the point where even his vicious dog whimpers at the sight of it. Is that the
Did you
one?
watch that one, Joe? It's the one that came out in 1999.
Oh, wasn't oh god, wasn't another Lord of the Rings actor in that too?
I don't think so. I know
I-
Keira Knightley was in that one too.
Wasn't Elijah Wood playing like the role of Dodger in that one?
No, not Elijah Wood. Keira Knightley and Andy Serkis were in that one.
Huh.
Might have to show you that, Joe.
I feel like there's another version of Oliver Twist that has Elijah Wood as Dodger.
I don't know.
Dead Faces in the Water. Wait, why were you smiling about that? I like
So, yeah.
dead people.
This is a lore place essentially. The reason why the swamps are like this is because this is a cursed land where one of the battles of the Second Age was fought. Lots of dead people, and the magic of Sauron basically corrupted the place.
Oh boy.
I see dead people.
That's also why you have these fires running around here.
You know,
So
for
yeah,
being-
in one
you know, for
twist of
being
events,
dead-
this is one occasion where you don't need to follow the light.
You know, for being dead for hundreds of years, they're
You
very
preserve well.
intact.
I'd hate
I
to
guess
think that
I
could
guess decomposition bacteria do not work well in this place.
Hello there.
Maybe it's the water.
Uh,
Uh,
Frodo, would your
yeah.
mind stop being on acid?
Again, I think they do kind of this. I think this is a
Ooh,
little bit really overdo Frodo's hopelessness. He just falls in the water for no reason.
Uh-oh.
Well, guess what, Dweebs? This bit in the book was actually very short, so this whole thing about Frodo falling in the water, I don't think there was even to begin with.
Hi there! You come here often? What am I saying? You guys live here.
Terrible Photoshop effects! Oh no!
They will eat your souls!
Seriously, this particular effect didn't age well.
Don't worry,
Thanks,
Gollum's there
Gollum.
to save him.
We thought you might be useless, but we didn't think you would be this useless.
Frodo needs a towel, Sam. Come on.
Do you have one?
I don't know, but apparently he must have, considering in the next shot he's perfectly fine.
Well,
I mean, in terms of not being wet, even his hairs are groomed pretty much well.
don't stroke it.
Hey, the ring likes to be put to bed properly.
Yeah, let's just go
Get a
with
little
that.
pillow, then. Alright, I'll be right
Also,
back.
Gollum is so desperate, he's fantasizing about the ring even when he doesn't have. Jesus.
He's so close to it.
Jackson really tries to portray having the ring like a serious drug addiction.
Which it kind of is, so kudos on that.
Like, the book is more explained like a simple corruption, and the fact that it takes a lot of time on Frodo is justified because apparently that's the effect that it has on hobbits. That's also why he left Bilbo for 60 years without doing anything to him.
How
Also,
weird.
that quote that Gollum just said, that's supposedly a reference to the bit in the tombs that was in Fellowship of the Ring with Tom Bombadil and that was cut away. So I understand where you're coming from, Jackson, but it's not enough of a bone here. But anyway, it's time to recuperate what Gandalf was told to Frodo in the first movie about the Gollum's real name. This is also helped with the cinematography by the change of expression. I can't stress enough how good the mocap is in this movie, but you can clearly tell when Gollum is having the Gollum face and when he's having the Smeagol face.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, Black Riders, I remember you
Frodo,
from
it's a
earlier.
bad time to have PTSD.
And that would be very bad.
That's what Aragorn told you already, Sam, in the previous movie. You paid attention. But yeah, this also shows the Nazgûls with fancy new beasts to ride, not simple horses, but fucking dinosaurs. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. It's not a dragon. It's not a wyvern. It's a pterodactyl, just without the horn. But the thing is, these creatures are only foreshadowed in the book. The real reveal, believe it or not, Jova, in the books, happened at the Battle of Minas Tirith in Return of the King. Not even kidding. That shot where Theoden gets killed, that's where the creatures get described in detail. So, honestly, this is one thing that the movie does better, actually introducing them properly here.
Well done.
Alright, what crap Frodo got himself into now?
He got PTSD at the worst possible moment. Go figure.
For some reason, I've always hated those convenient PTSD to handicap the hero.
It can be done well, but more often than not, it's an obvious crutch that writers use.
And cut. Moving on.
I think even Ace Attorney 5 kind of fell foul of that a couple of times.
I think when they had PTSD in that,
Wait, there's a character in Ace Attorney 5 that has PTSD.
Best
We
not
won't go into
spoil.
spoilers.
That's though, in that regard, though, I think it was okay because it didn't affect, like, you know, the main character at hand.
Sure.
Well, okay, the one you were playing as at the time. Oh, that bit.
Quick, run away before they bore you to sleep.
Well, at least it's better than Ferngully, I guess.
Yeah. Gimli, don't worry. They have the same voice you do, so you'll be safe.
And a similar looking face as well. Suspicious.
Did they mocap John Rhys Davis's
Face, yes.
It's like what they would do eventually for
Haha, that's Gimli. Fucking
that's what they do eventually for Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Watch the behind the scenes of Hobbit. He literally, bent over on like a skate roller and towards the camera. It's hilarious.
They motion capped him for the face of a dragon.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, roll initiative.
Let's take down Saruman here once and for all, guys.
And it's a complete disaster. Congratulations, team. You get 0 experience.
Dang. Wow, crud. Wait, he's not attacking us.
Oh, let me listen to this. Oh, the Italian dub actually fucked up this moment because here we're supposed to have the two voices, to go together. But the problem is with the Italian dub, Gandalf's voice actor slightly takes over the one of Saruman. So the surprise is spoiled like 2 seconds beforehand.
Yep, that's right. Now, why?
Imagine if they accidentally killed him or something.
Gandalf, it's very nice to see that you're alive and all, but why did you have to disguise your voice as Saruman's there?
Gandalf is just that quirky. Also, he's sporting a new fashion design, surprising enough not to sell toys, complete with new white Adidas, but you will see a lot in this movie.
Oh!
It's a good job he said afterwards, Saruman as he should have been, because imagine if he said, I am Saruman, and then they killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did they get from a pit of water to here?
So
Unfortunately, this is explained better in the book, but in the movie is glossed over. Believe it or not, after falling the pit of water, the Balrog believes Gandalf is dead, so he starts climbing back on top of the mountain with Gandalf pursuing him close. It's actually kind of awesome how it's described, and it's a shame the movie completely cut it away.
And there you go, that Balrog is DEAD dead.
Unless you play Middle-earth Battle for Middle-earth 1, where Gandalf kills the Balrog directly in the Moria mission. But that's another story. And when I woke up, I was Magneto. Oh, wait.
Damn it to you, I was going to say that.
Maybe this is where he gets the idea of breaking bridges. It was a bridge crumbling that kind of caused his would-be death.
Yeah, honestly,
but it was a stone bridge, not a metallic one.
Yeah, honestly, I'm used to my stuff being stolen. I mean, Jova steals my intros.
Pardonne-me, like you've stolen my jokes at times.
Also, completely cut away is also the fact that he went to Lothlorien and got himself also a mantle and talked with Galadriel, because that was slightly important. But unfortunately, again, believe it or not, Lewis, I know what you're meaning. The movie is already extremely long. Believe me, there is a good place that could have been cut away from the movie and have those replacing that.
So I guess to sum it up, essentially, oh, your Gandalf seems to be evolving. He's reached just the right level to become White Wizard Gandalf. Would you like to give him a nickname?
No.
Yeah, Magneto.
This bit also was slightly expanded, but it serves only to have Gimli again being the comic relief. So, good riddance.
Uh-oh.
Seriously. That's Gimli!
He's insulting himself?
Yeah, if I go by voice, if I go by actor terminology, yes.
Who else but Gimli?
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
The...
What would you rather have him do? Kill you using the metal that's classed to you that you use to put your tunic together?
So I do wonder, my friends, how's the venture been going after I told you to get the hell out of there?
Very good, Wibbs. This is also the purpose of the scene, to explain to the fact that the Ents have been really out of touch with reality. That's why they're so alien.
Well, we've lost Sean Bean.
Oh, no surprise there. How's Frodo's progress been made? Wait, I just noticed Frodo's not with you. Oh god, he's gotten lost, hasn't he?
Believe it or not, if you don't remember, Joe, believe it or not, the later scene will explain that. And here's the plot point that I was managing. Now, all of a sudden, for no real reason, movie-wise, Gandalf is having the white horse from those shampoo commercials. Not even kidding. But why? This is you think that it's just a horse that he gets because he has new superpowers. No, he actually gets this horse in the first book while he was away, while he was getting back from Saruman's tower. He actually went to Edoras and asked Theoden a horse, but Theoden, since he already started to be possessed, just pick one and go away. And he picked this.
That's a very loyal horse, then.
Well, it was serving, like I said, it's called Shadowfax and he's white.
Ironic naming. He's the lord of all horses.
Also, the thing is, that scene was supposed to use that part of book was supposed to be for foreshadowing the state of Edoras. So I don't know.
So I guess we're just going to assume that I got you several other horses off screen too.
Yeah.
Because
I reign the lord of all horses.
Oh god, in addition to being
yes, wanna listen to Treebeard actually singing a poem? There you have it.
No, I don't want to. These trees suck.
This, by the way, line for line, is actually a poem that is written in the book.
Yeah, I've just noticed. I said this is my favourite of the bunch, and yet a lot of this complain.
Well, have you heard me, Dweebs? Like I said, it's just like I said. Why I like the trilogy as a whole, to me, this is the most flawed of the movies.
Yeah, I definitely would say Return of the King is still my favorite, if only because I feel like it gets down to business the
Yeah,
best.
Return of
To
the
the
King.
feet to the orcs.
I think Return of the King's a bit. I think it feels a bit too stretched.
That makes us the multiple endings thing.
Well, it's not just that. Yeah, there's all other stuff as well.
There we go. Mary's having your reaction, Dweebs.
Yeah, it's like, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to sleep.
And that's a shame also because the poem that Treebeard is singing is actually kind of nice. It has a melancholic vibe and showcase about the Ants being this super ancient race that now is essentially dying. It's a part of the old world that is gonna go extinct no matter what. It has a similar vibe to Neverending Stories. People and components just fading away. Yeah, I think the Italian voice actor actually gave a shit when saying this.
And the actors are so well done. You bored them to sleep.
Aw, isn't that cute? I guess he believes them now since Gandalf told him so. But basically, audience, Gandalf has something of a plan here, hence why he sent the the Ent off with the Shirelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. In between
But
movies,
that's for like an hour from now.
in between movies, Gandalf kind of becomes stripping Batman when it comes to mapping out plans.
That's
as you'll
tied
see.
to his true nature, pretty much.
It's weird
And
though.
this was there you go. This actually was another added scene that I think would have been a bit more useful. It's used to foreshadow what's happening to Rohan and Gandalf getting caught on what's going on with Frodo. And it transitioned even well with the next scene, as you will see. Yeah, this also serves to foreshadow about the Aragorn being the true king of Gondor, but we'll get to that in the next movie.
Oh, will we ever?
Well, next movie's like, by the
A
time we get
combination of...
by the
Again,
time
like
we
I
get to
said,
it, it'll be-
this whole trilogy is an epic that contains a shit ton of minor story arcs with all these complex characters that intertwine and ultimately come together. There's a reason why it's heralded as at least one of the pioneers of the fantasy genre. It is that complex and unique in how it dealt with things.
It's what we
by-
like
by-
to
by the time
call.
we finish this,
Sorry,
by the
it's
time we finish this trilogy, the Amazon TV show will be out.
all right. That's
knows?
an Amazon TV show, but yeah, basically, folks, it's what we like to call high-end fantasy. The kind of fantasy that puts a lot, and I mean a lot of thought into it, to the point where, yeah, it's pretty much a world. The only thing that stops it from being real is that it's within the confines of a book or a movie. But examples like this include stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender, which went to great lengths to carve out the world amazingly well.
Isn't there a Lord of the Rings-ish museum in New Zealand?
But mostly possible, where they kept a lot of props and stuff like that. But here's a twist. Gandalf didn't knew that Sam went with Frodo, but he's not angry, but actually surprised. This may work out for the best.
Wow, Gandalf's taking things
And
to...
transition, and again, it transitions very smoothly to the next scene. I actually like it, and it functions better than the theatrical cut when it just cuts away like everything else.
It's
And
definitely...
here it
They're in
is,
good hands.
the Black Gate.
All that's keeping us from getting through is a gate now.
So, big question. What was the original Fellowship plan to get inside there once getting here? Because, look, you will see in a second. Yeah, it's a huge plain. And the place is entirely surveyed by orcs 24/7. What are we hoping to do?
Did they even know about this gate?
Yes. Gimli actually discussed this near the end of the first movie.
Maybe they had a very elaborate plan to knock out some guards, steal their uniforms, and pull a Star Wars on them.
I doubt. And here's some foreshadow even goes nowhere here. Well, I tell a slight lie. It serves for the grand picture, but here's the thing: these are Easterlings, people from the human kingdom of Rune. Basically, the Eastern territories are not just Mordor. There are a couple of minor kingdoms of men, which have been corrupted by the influence of Sauron, and by becoming mercenaries, they've been answering his call. And these are such Rune soldiers. Problem: they show up only here in this scene. While they contribute supposedly to the final battle of Minas Tirith in the movies, you will see them only here now.
You know, it kind of makes you wonder. So Sauron was the guy who everyone banded up against, yet apparently he's been away for some time, and now he seems to be the guy that everyone wants to sign up for. Like, geez, talk about a change in opinion.
That's the problem, Jova. The kingdoms of Man of the East are extremely again, they're mercenaries. They value only coin. Sauron knows how to corrupt people, so do the math.
Huh.
In also Middle Earth, in the Battle for Middle Earth first game, you actually get to do a mission for the evil campaign of having the orcs carrying tributes to the men of the South to corrupt them.
Fascinating.
Oop.
Quick, my cloak will act and make us invisible to them.
Actually, yes.
Eat your heart out, Harry Potter.
Yeah, these disguise them as a rock. It's actually quite effective. So why didn't you use them in the swamp before?
Wait, what good would it have done in the swamp?
Well, not this guy. Remember, the trick is supposed that the elven mantles managed to camouflage them with the environment.
Well, yeah, but what good would camouflage?
Don't take it off now. They're still right there.
Yeah, seriously, we could have waited a bit longer.
Well, what good would camouflage have done for them in the swamp anyway, seeing as how, it was the ghosts that they had problems with?
True, I suppose.
Now we just gotta find a way to get through that
Man of
gate.
Norn.
We know, Frodo, but honestly, it's probably best Sam comes with you.
Oh.
Tess. And now Gollum will repeat almost word to word the same thing that Gandalf told in the Shire in the first movie. I don't get it why they felt the need to repeat the structure about Sauron looking for the ring.
Foreboding.
The good thing about this is to showcase that Gollum is so desperate about possessing the ring that he's actually willing to not give it to Sauron. His own maliciousness takes over the fact of trying to work with Sauron. So
it's part of what
I guess a good indicator for the audience.
It's part of what makes Gollum such a...
You never asked.
No, we should probably just go for that gate now.
To be fair, he's kind of right.
On the other side of the gate, we'll probably be surrounded by orcs.
True.
Gollum's plan makes sense, he's just not telling all of it.
In hindsight, it really does make you think what the Fellowship's plan was. Were they really this doomed from the
Charging
get-go?
us blazing Leroy Jenkins styles?
You know what they say.
We go on the stairs, and then I stab you. We go through and, win.
Right.
Oh, yes. Smeagol me do very good.
So you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, sounds like, what the fuck, Frodo? You're gonna get us all killed.
Oh well.
It really is...
Dig our way under the gate.
Again, you really do have to wonder, though.
Oh no. Okay, of all the scenes that were added for the extended cut, this is one of the most pointless. Basically, the only real value that I can bring out is to expand a bit more the lore of Fangorn and the Old Forest of the War. But otherwise, it's a cock contest between Merry and Pippin.
I get the feeling that in the extended version, they throw these scenes in to throw a bone to book fans.
Okay, to be fair, a lot of the scenes that they've added have actually helped the plot, to be fair. It's more like a mixture between the two. Yeah, some are just for a bone, but a lot do feel like they actually do help the narrative. You know, stuff like actually explaining why the orc stopped for the bit there, or certain scenes involving Gandalf here and there too. It's not perfect, but I will say this, from what I understand, the extended versions are definitely preferable to the theatrical cuts overall. I mean, unless you're just turned off by long length.
Well, normally I am.
Well, yeah,
Mind you,
but
then
these
again,
are kind of
I'm
the
the guy that
exception to
picks
the
the all
rule.
good movies when I pick round.
Hmm.
Where's this coming from?
Then what's the point of it?
Look, Mary, you've got a girl's name. Now is probably not the best time to do dick measuring.
Oh no.
Oh god, no.
Yeah, apparently Fangor has magical water that makes you grow. What the fuck?
I want to be tall.
No, guys, you will become like the girl in Tall Girl, and everyone will start bullying at you. And now, yeah, obligatory phrase, I've seen enough hentai to see where this is going.
Oh boy. No! I
And
can
Marion
feel
Dipton
his...
died, the safest person of the earth, my ass.
I can feel his junk against me!
And they died again.
What a terrible fate.
Yeah, they totally died from that.
Okay, this is a good way to also establish the fact that the Treebeard is supposed to be, you know, a shepherd of the trees, so...
Don't eat them.
Please.
Oh, what are you, Morgana?
I guess. Jesus Christ, is anything safe in this universe? Don't show them the Lorixum, then. That may cause them to outright revolt.
Yeah, seriously, the trees in this forest are fucking pissed off.
What, did they see all the paper that was being used to make Patch Adams?
Or the script of the movie.
Oh god, I get
this
it.
scene was also slightly altered to explain another bit of lore, the fact that why the ants are getting extinct. Because the ant wives, as Trivy are called, migrated to the east, so for some reason. And obviously they haven't returned, so they're just assuming they just went away.
Huh.
It gets this particular bit, not in the movie but in the book, gets sort of a conclusion at the beginning of Return of the King, where Gandalf discusses with Treebeard about the fact that after the war, maybe after purifying the territories of the East, the Antliers will return. But it's a more shrug than anything. Aww. And now, by continuing the approach that the movie has done so far by portraying Edoras as a Western style city, and I mean a movie Western-like city, we're gonna have these four gents storming in and essentially having the equivalent of a Clint Eastwood movie. So, well, a Sergio Leone style movie.
Okay, this should be interesting.
Theoden is constantly Theoden is pretty much in the grasp of Saruman, as I said earlier.
Yeah, mind control and stuff.
That's why he looks really, really old.
Old.
Oh right, yeah, he's the guy who's the captain of the Titanic.
He
Yeah.
actually does look like one of the trees.
Let me... Bernard Hill. There you go. That's the name of the actor. Eowyn instead is played by Miranda Otto. You may have seen it recently. I think it was in one of the Blumhouse production movies. I forgot which one specifically. Annabelle Creation. There you go. Bernard Hill. Let's see what he's done recently. Oh, it was in
boy.
Paranorman in
Oh, boy.
2012.
Grieber bad guy is here.
Yeah, time to continue his behavior as a stalker.
All right, Brad Dorf, we just need you to be you.
You.
What is it about
Do
Brad
you
Dorf?
actually mind?
What is it about Brad Dorf just playing the absolute weirdest of characters? Like, basically, in the Aliens movie that he was in, he actually manages to out-weird the freaking aliens and make it seem
I
like
know,
he's
right?
coming on to
You are a
them.
beautiful butterfly.
Which one was he in?
Alien Resurrection. He was the lead scientist.
I'll admit,
That,
I'm one of the
that was
people
the
who
one
actually
from the
thinks that
first.
Alien Resurrection is better than Aliens Free. I mean, Alien
It's a
Free.
guilty pleasure for me. It's a bit weird, but I will get more into it. The actual movie.
well, considering who owns that movie now.
Yeah. Bad touch. Bad touch.
Again, his name's freaking Grieber Wormtongue.
His
I mean,
mother must have had a ball naming him.
You might as well have
And
named.
this
you
is
might
the
as well-
point where Elwin slaps him, right?
No.
Might as well have
This is
named
the point
him
where she
I'm a
kicks him
bad
in the
guy.
crotch.
Or at the very no, okay. So she slaps him now. No, she just goes away.
But she told him his
What?
words were poison. That hurts just as much.
Also, time for some symbolism. Yeah, just watch. So she gets out and sees the Hope coming in towards the city. Also, side note, why is Edoras completely a wooden city? For a capital of a kingdom, it's a terrible strategic place, and the movie wouldn't call out. But anyway, here we go. The banner of the country gets ripped off and goes away with the wind. There you go. Just outside it, where Aragorn is getting in. Again, this is all symbolic about him coming in to save the day as the true king of man. But, I don't know.
I heard you had a problem, miss. I'll come here to rid you of it.
Also, another thing for the score, I actually really like the lead motif for Rohan.
It definitely combines Western feel with fantasy. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Howard
Oh, there we
Shore
go.
is.
Speaking of Western style, time for the classic city where everyone looks down at you.
Outsiders. You know, I should really show you guys Hateful Eight. That's a pretty good movie.
I actually saw it.
Oh, how'd you like it?
That's Gimli.
Oh,
Well, to be fair, it is an accurate statement.
I know.
Honestly,
but, yeah,
that
I actually
line I'm
like
okay
it,
with.
Jova. Oh, there you go. This is Hama, one of the minor generals of Rohan. Oh.
Again, that name should be a fucking red flag.
Headcanon dweebs, he need to do multiple takes because he will start corpsing.
Yeah, seriously, I love the look that Gandalf gives when he hears the name Grim of Wormtongue.
We
Like,
don't take kind of you, stranger. Now give me your revolver. Seriously, it's literally played like a western.
But I need this star for walking. Yeah, what he said.
Come on, how can you say no to those puppy dog guys?
seriously, it's just an old man in his wood that he needs.
Maybe it's like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridget. Tristan, put down the stick. You don't remember what happened when you had the Caesars.
Shut the fuck up.
Also, again, those nice Adidas Gandalf.
Also,
Seriously.
Gandalf the Grey, yet he's still got his really white staff.
Pay no mind to that.
And his white beard and hair.
That's just my age showing. I'm
asleep, for fuck's sake.
Seriously, I just captained a ship that was going down. I feel like I could use a freaking rest on that. But it was the highest grossing ship of all movies, sir. And why do you think it took a lot out of me?
Shut up, Marilyn Manson.
Hold your tongue, worm tongue.
Oop. And now, time for the saloon bar. My beat. Gandalf, I appreciate the effort, but I want to wait until the Brolys calm down.
No, they've got it handled. I should probably read this off as best I could.
Also, for an elf, Legolas is pretty good at punching people in the face.
Hey, Gimli's not all comic relief.
Thank God.
It just shows that some elves actually can be good, you know, when they're not busy being stuck up.
So I hope you like the Western beats because it's trying to change genre completely instead ripping off essentially The Exorcist.
All that's
And
missing
your
is
mother
his...
sucks cocks in air.
All that's missing is the vomiting and his head spinning.
There.
No, don't flash me! Seriously.
Ow.
Not cool, man.
But he's gonna kill my father.
No,
he knows what
just,
he's
just watch
doing.
the fireworks. So it's interesting.
Ow.
It's mine, you understand? Mine! Oh, mine!
I love
Vibe
that
check.
transition as well. I love that transition as well. Hits him
Yeah.
in the forehead and
And he has that scar there. Oh shit. Theoden really did die.
I think I might have overdone it.
And now, time
No,
for
wait,
some
he's
CGI
alive.
rejuvenation. I don't even know how we did this effect.
Fade in and out, that's how they did it.
Again, props to the CGI studio.
Yeah.
I think it's wetter. I
You're
think.
my son, aren't you?
About that.
Oh, no, wait, it's my other kid, my daughter.
Though, okay, just like Doug Walker pointed out, at least a problem with this movie has for Eowyn, she actually speaks. Not even kidding. In the Ralph Bakshi version, she doesn't say a word, she's just a passing cameo.
Dang. Kind of
Again,
awkward.
Ralph Bakshi had to condense a lot of stuff in little time, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
The Ralph Bakshi one, that was unfinished, wasn't it? Because I mean, he did.
Yes and no. He wanted to make an adaptation also of Return of the King, but he didn't got it, and Rankin Bass was filling in the blank. They also did the Hobbit adaptation as a result. Also, that person who's giving him the sword instead is Gambling, the bearer of the flag of Rohan. Also, that sword design is cool.
It really is.
It looks like a heart.
By the way,
There are two horse heads. Yeah, basically there are two horse heads coming together. Classic medieval imagery. Think of stuff like Conan the Barbarian. So yeah, want to put that sword to good use, Theoden, maybe?
Wait, I swear I only had your best interest in mind. Oh.
Also, you could have actually killed him by slapping his neck from the stairs.
I guess he didn't want to make blood inside his own castle.
Now, Theoden, everyone has their own kinks, so... Yeah, and out of nowhere, Aragorn is feeling pitiful towards Grima. Now, I get it, this is supposed to be foreshadowing for Grima's eventual betrayal of Saruman, but there's no reason why he shouldn't die here.
Or he said enough blood has been spilled to his account.
I suppose.
Yeah, now he's just gonna run back to Saruman and tell him what happened.
AKA, it's freaking Brad Dorff. We can't kill him yet. There's still so much more mugging for the camera for him to do.
That 5-second added scene where Grima spits on Aragorn's face, that's gonna be like foreshadowing for another added scene later on.
But the Chucky movie's still going on around this time.
Well, I mean, considering how, they went on even until, like, the later 2000s when they brought it back with Curse of Chucky.
Oh, even in this decade, even.
Nowadays, though, it's Mark Hamill playing Chucky. I know, hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, funeral time, guys. Let's take off our hats, even though I'm not.
Okay. This time I'll be dweebs for this scene. This scene in the extended cut goes on for way too long and added an unnecessary song that, yes, it was in the book and it's nice and everything, but the movie could have been done without it. Why? Two reasons. Again, it extends a bit too much, the scene as it is, and two, not for nothing, but Eowyn's actress is not the best suited for actually singing it. You will hear it in a second.
Who was that again? I've forgotten.
Theoden's son. Theodred. He was rescued by Eomer in that scene and then was brought back.
Unfortunately, he died.
What? And any chance he has of coming back alive is hindered by it.
His sister's singing.
Okay, so instead of actually having my ears screeched by this singing, I will say something nice. The fact that the kings of Rohan have their tombs stylized in these particular fashion, like again, it's a pastiche between a Western and a Conan the Barbarian story. These classic type of tombs that are, covering in a very old, almost Scottish way. And I actually also like this scene. Also was in the theatrical cut, so it's not something added. But I actually like this scene in general. The summation that King Theoden does about what life means, what a parent is by losing his child and stuff like that. It helps again with the performance of the actor.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a sort of a story arc that Theoden goes through himself.
It is sort of a thing. No parent wants to bury their own child.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. The sad thing is, like, his son could have lived, but unfortunately, because he was being possessed, no proper care was given.
Perfect. I actually really like this scene in its tragedy. Some commentators, when the actual movies came out, I remember seeing interviews, said that the movies actually do take some elements from Shakespeare, classical stories like Macbeth, Henry V, King Lear, and stuff like that. And I can totally see
that as well.
I can totally see that happening here. Well, yes, similar to how Star Wars essentially took most of the movie genres that happened at the time. Tolkien, when writing the movie, when writing the books, he was pioneering the fantasy as we know it today. So, of course, he was taking everything, the Arthurian cycle, the Conan the Barbarian, stuff similar to Conan the Barbarian, stories that he heard everywhere, and filled in one unique narrative. But hey, look at that, the kids actually survived. Theoden face palming is the best thing ever.
Yeah, even though the context is very sad, it makes ways for memes.
About that. Gandalf, I don't know what you're trying to do, but maybe try to not look like the guy who just went away from corrupting the king. Oh, this is another plot point. Okay, this is where the movie starts incredibly diverging from the book. Why? immediately after this, Theoden goes like, sure, call back Helmer, and he actually gets back. He actually goes along with the Rohan army and actually fights at Helm's Deep from the beginning. The person who is still out there who can't get back here instead is another general called Erkenbrand, who is going to be the one showing up in the climax. I'm guessing the thought process for Jackson was like, well, Erkenbrand is not that well foreshadowed, so let's put in a character that already had screen time so we can remember when he shows up, I suppose.
It works, I guess.
Gimli, please. It's time for the King's Speech. Oh no, that's another movie.
I don't see Helena Bonham Carter anywhere.
Now, okay, I actually agree with what Theoden wants to do, because Edoras is a shitty place to fight, so actually go to a more fortified location.
Yeah, I mean, it's wood everywhere. One little match and that thing's gonna go up in smoke.
But apparently Gandalf is going so old man yells at cloud mode for this. No, it's not a good place to go there.
Maybe he is. You happen to know everything nowadays, don't you, Gandalf?
Well, I mean, I get his
Here at the
theory.
script.
He's only just strictly sound.
I'm totally not hinting at any possible secrets you may have. Wink, wink.
No, I am the white.
Come, Lord of Horses, there's much to be done. I love how he calls that thing the Lord of Horses.
That's oddly specific, Gandalf. Again, did you read the script? And off he goes. Again, to be fair, these actually happen in the book as well, and that's why he goes to recruit Erkenbrand. But anyway, this is actually another added scene that serves to establish the new steed that Aragorn is going to have. Okay, I guess.
It's an unruly horse that can't be broken by anyone, Seabiscuit.
I'm calling it Mr. Sniffles.
Granted, I don't think Seabiscuit was out yet, but I just love this classic story of the horse that can't be broken, except for this one specific
Jova, it's the son of Spirit.
Oh no!
The unexpected crossover with Spirit running free. Can you imagine Viggo Mortensen singing, I'm going to ride, to ride free.
Joe,
Yeah?
don't worry, I'll ask Siri. When did Seabiscuit come out?
Which one? I found 4.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. The one with Tobey Maguire.
I don't think Siri knows.
When did the Tobey Maguire Seabiscuit movie come out?
Seabiscuit was released on the 1st of January 2003.
So a few weeks after, like a couple of weeks after this film came out.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that this scene is also adding. The start of Eowyn's own stalker crush. Yes, believe it or not, Eowyn falls in love with Aragorn, but he's not repaying the sentiment by a single solitary bit. So between this and Return of the King, you're gonna have these scenes where Eowyn completely drools over Viggo Mortensen with no payoff. It's like a sitcom.
Aragorn, here's an idea. Why not tell her I've got someone waiting for me back?
He actually does, but here's the thing. Eowyn doesn't give a shit, as you will see later.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Oh, here's the other added scene that has the payoff from the speech scene from before. So Saruman is obviously not really happy.
Saruman likes talking to himself and recapping.
Why, I only have myself to talk to. Sauron never answers my calls.
Don't worry, you've got Brad Dourif to talk to now.
You act like that's better.
But
that's rude.
Chucky.
Dang.
He's been playing Chucky for like 30 years.
But he stinks of horse.
Just tell him to have a shower then. You've got water there, haven't you?
Oh.
Yeah, actually, Joe, it's interesting. It's Ray Brad Dourif in live action.
Yeah. You know what's funny? There's actually a horror movie where he doesn't play the psychotic killer.
Is he play the guy who dies first?
Hold on.
Nah, he plays a sheriff.
The Ring of Barahir, which testifies the descendants of the Numenorians. I actually had a replica of that ring for a while.
Basically, James, the movie I'm referencing is Rob Zombie's Halloween duology.
Oh, I haven't seen those, but I've heard those weren't very good.
Oh, the second one is amazingly bad.
Gotta love how Saruman just sums up the pointlessness of the added scene from the extended cut.
Besides,
It matters not.
Joker,
Poop.
Besides, Joker, I've seen the 2018 one. I don't think I need to watch those two.
Well, when the eventual commentaries come. But yeah, the 2018 Halloween is a pretty good movie, from what I understand.
Yeah, I saw it in the cinema.
Okay.
Better than
Even
Ter-
brought John Carpenter back for the music.
Now, if only they could have replicated the same success with Terminator Dark Fate.
Apparently it bombed incredibly hard, Jova.
Oh, yes, and for good reason. I mean, it's not the worst Terminator movie. That honor still goes
Okay,
to
Jova.
Salvation.
Oh, sorry, Jova. Which Mulan music should we play here?
Let's get down to business to defeat.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, Mulan's one of those films where I don't really remember the songs.
Oh, well, thankfully I
Okay,
do.
Okay, one. Look at the face that Eowyn has. This is crazy. That face is the one of a stalker. Jesus Christ.
Okay, is the thing though. The women. Well, I mean, this woman in particular, but there might be others. They learn how to fight, and yet later on, who's the king again?
Yeah.
Which one?
I mean, what's the name of the king?
Theoden.
Theoden has all the women and children, even though even the women who are capable of fighting sent away so that the men can do the fighting, even like the bloody 8-year-olds.
Was that how it was in the book too, to you?
I don't remember that bit, honestly. It might as well be. I remember Tolkien still wrote this in like 1910s.
Oh, no. Look, I would get if that was away from the get-go, but the fact that they actually train women to fight in the first place, but then at the last minute say, oh, no, sorry, you can't join,
But
seems
basically,
a bit backwards.
Eowyn's what the second story arc for Eowyn is essentially her wanting to fight on the battlefield, but no, she's a woman, she can't. Derpy.
Totally not hinting at anything to come.
Or more like Theoden be like, shut up, we're old and man
But
and
you
smart,
know-
dag nabbit.
But you know one thing that's odd?
What?
That was something like that was going to happen in this movie.
What?
What was the name
Oh,
of the...
it's for later on, Weebs. I know what you're talking about. Don't worry. I'll
and,
tell you to bring
well,
it up when we
I'll
get to it.
just say, for once, you can actually blame the fans of the book for that one.
Honestly, Weebs, too, if you ask me, it resulted in even worse. So,
Well, blame the fans.
but that's the thing. It's not even serviceable for the fans of a book.
well, the fans shouldn't really have complained then, should they?
It's more like Peter Jackson should have listened better.
Don't worry, Joe, we'll explain the full context. Well, let's agree to blame both.
Anyway, Saruman has a trick up his sleeve for the caravan.
I
Sharku.
thought that was Gandalf for a second.
No.
Aw, Smeagol's trying to catch a fish.
I mean, at least he's gonna have a sort of a bath with this.
Why do you call the man who's tried to kill us on several occasions
Don't bully the
names?
creature.
Well,
That's the problem. With this kind of argument, unfortunately, both Frodo and Sam are right at the same time. Gollum is not to be trusted, but at the same time, he's also a tragic figure. He's not just a mindless monster.
It does make him rather compelling here. But maybe I can. Maybe I can. Maybe I can finally do something.
Don't. Have you taken your methamphetamine? Elijah, have you taken your methamphetamines today?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Could it be the
Sorry.
ring?
It's like you might as well kiss the ring at this point.
If you love the ring so much, why don't you marry it? Oh,
Believe me,
wait.
Yugi, I looked into it. Do you? Who are you, Julia Roberts?
Me, me, me.
What is she even doing these days?
I don't know. I don't know if her.
Sad.
I don't know if her career recovered after Mirror
Oh,
Mirror.
time for possibly the best scene in the entire movie, but it's not an action scene. Andy Serkis completely and utterly dominating the screen.
Yeah.
Talking to himself.
Yeah.
Basically, folks.
And again, thanks to this, again, props to the mocap CGI for having the audience understand with great effect what personality is talking.
Well, yeah, I mean, it helps the cameras going back and forth.
True, but again, the facial expression also greatly helps.
Aww.
I mean, it even looks like he has
Ah,
other
yes,
people
that's
inside,
right.
so-
Crash of the Titans did a riff on the scene with Dr. Engine.
Of course.
It was with this whole thing of trying to make Engine the Ren of the series.
Oh, apparently Julia Roberts was in Murph the Lost Village, 2017. Oh. Spoken like a true abuser.
At times it doesn't sound like he's saying Gollum. It's like, ow, ow.
Well, he clearly has a few things stuck up his throat. But yeah, Smeagol is
I
said
gotta love
enough
how
is enough.
the double personality is depicted as an abusive relationship.
Aww. That's right, Smeagol. You tell yourself that. Run away, Scar.
And never return.
Piss off. Yeah, I wonder how much that voice did its toll on Andy Serkis's throat.
Well, apparently he can still speak, so
What
currently.
I do
even more so than when he played,
wonder if it was dubbed in post, or it was still acted what it was mocapping.
Maybe even more so when he was playing Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Miguel, you're gonna wake up the hobbits, you know.
Oh,
Oh, not the rabbits! Don't show this to Shiroi.
How nice!
is this why Shiori hates medieval films? Because she saw that bit.
Because
So-
the rabbits are... Well, to be fair, Dreams, as Pontify from the Holy Grail told us, rabbits are vicious killers. So it's best if... Ow!
Oh!
And to be fair, it was that already, but why would you do that?
He means well.
Also, he's eating the testicles first. What the fuck is wrong with you, Gollum? Gotta love the way the scene cuts to Gollum screaming. Like, again, it's a sitcom.
Oh god, how long has it... Smeagol, Gollum, how long has it been since you've had food properly cooked?
Approximately 500 years, Jova.
Oh, we are in trouble.
Oh, is another meme coming up.
Yeah, unusual suspect managed to make a bit of a rap about that line. Just boil it, think of it as stew.
Aw, they're having a bonding
Sorry,
moment.
Dweebs. Apparently Gollum is not for fish and chips, so he must not get into Britain.
Oh crap!
That face. Can this marriage be saved?
Oh my god, a marriage between Sam and Smeagol. Heck
Seriously,
yes.
they do really act like an old married couple.
He likes his food
Oh,
raw.
But that owl screeching keeps happening. I wonder what it could be. And now time for, once again, sorry, more foreshadowing, but this time it will actually go somewhere. Another type of man from a kingdom that has been corrupted by Sauron, Haradrims, which are basically, not sugarcoating it, even Tolkien wrote about them, basically an allegory for Arabia.
Cute.
You know, every time someone says Arabia, ever since I was revisiting bits and pieces of old Disney stuff, every time someone says Arabia, the first thing that comes into my brain is Arabian Nights.
But of course.
Well, okay, to be more honest, considering the period of time where he wrote them, also, yeah, these are the giant elephants with 4 tusks instead of 2.
Gotta make a mystical. Oh, it's called an oliphant.
Oliphant, yeah. Sam even has in the book, Sam even has an entire poem written around what an oliphant looks like.
Oliphant. When you say Oliphant, that's the last name of an actor.
And I love how they are intrigued by this.
But to be fair, when Tolkien wrote it, again, it was World War One, and the Middle East was more sort of unified in the Ottoman Empire before it collapsed. So I guess it's more of an allegory to that.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, someone is actually ambushing them. But who could it be? Oh, it looks like that monk from Van Helsing. Play, in case you don't know the name of the actor, David Wenham. Let me check what he's done recently. Oh, he was in the Peter Rabbit movie.
Fascinating.
Also in Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar is a dead and doesn't tell tales because he has a revenge. And here we go. 2 things. 1, the upcoming dialogue that is being told in the extended cut of this scene is kind of a betrayal because originally it was something that Sam said instead of the character we're about to see. And the second I will say in a second.
Well, considering Frodo's barely said much of anything.
Well, no. Well, okay, no. Well, no, it's not this. There you go. What this ranger is saying about the Haradrim and asking the ambiguity of the situation, that's actually a nice touch. But it's Sam who had these as spots instead of having this character blatantly tell to everyone else. It's kind of ruins the moment, if you ask me. So it's a good thing we will cut away from the theatrical release. Also, sorry, there was 3 things in total. Second, in a television broadcast, this is the moment where the movie pretty much stopped its first part. It's actually kind of fitting. Third, I hope you liked Sam and Frodo's story arc so far, because from this point on, whenever we cut to them, it's something that is completely and utterly made up and wasn't in the book. So I hope you enjoy it.
Well, I mean, just because stuff wasn't from the book doesn't mean it's
Believe me,
bad.
Dweebs, this alters the story on the long run. Big time, but more into detail later.
Think about it
Also,
this. A bulk
Gimli, in other news, Gimli is still goofy.
It's fine. I mean, okay.
He's just telling a nice story to bring up the morale.
I think the reason that you're focusing more on his comedy...
He doesn't know to ride a horse.
Well, I guess to be fair, I guess we needed some things uplifting here and there.
Yeah, I mean, considering the bleak consequences if they fail, they do need some laughs. So again, this is the kind of, humor in an otherwise dark situation I can get behind.
It helps keep us from going into darkness-induced apathy territory.
Also, I kind of also this bit that also is in the extended cut. It was in theatrical, as failed in pretty much telling a short abridged version of the backstory of Eowyn that otherwise wasn't present. But so it's nice enough. Okay.
Let's gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song.
Oh yeah, here's another thing that I don't get. Apparently, Eowyn is not good at cooking. Okay.
So she's one of those anime girls.
Or yeah, like a character in the Tales of game. Believe it or not, Jova, in every single Tales of game there is one of a party character who is not good at cooking.
Do I spit it out or do I pretend?
It's delicious.
It's not very good.
Keep also the context in mind. Aragorn is a person who has lived outside of civilization for most of his life and ate
No,
raw
don't
stuff.
lie. She'll spread it around and poison everybody.
So this is how shitty the stew is for him.
Oh, whoops! I seem to have accidentally spilled some of it.
My
Whoops!
bad.
I seem to have spilled a bit more of it.
But yeah, in the midst of this also talks a bit more about Aragorn's true nature, about a descendant of a Dunedain, because
Wait, hang on.
he's
at least 60.
86 years old. Yeah. Like I said, I think I said this in the
You guys complained about the actors in Dark Phoenix not looking 60.
This is tied to his true nature. Like I said, I think I mentioned this briefly in the previous movie, but basically Númenóreans are a hybrid between men and elves, and while they're not immortal, in a sense of a way, we can still live for hundreds of years.
Which means that his love with his elven love interest can work out, to an extent.
Believe it or not, the movie is gonna acknowledge that.
Yeah. Might be better to do it sooner rather than
Also,
later.
your stew still sucks.
Also, smoking's bad for you, dude. I know you may think that you may live for a while, but you don't want to take yours off with that pipe.
Okay, here we go. In general, one of the things that the movie wastes a long time on are these scenes with Arwen. The fact that this is supposed to reinforce Aragorn and Arwen's love story, and the fact that the star-crossed love that is between them, and the fact that the elves are going away from Middle-earth. If you ask me, they're not like in a single block, but if you ask me, they drag on for way too long for where they're on screen. I get it that you needed some use for Liv Tyler in the movie, but
Wait,
I don't
that's
know.
Liv Tyler? Oh,
Yeah.
right! Liv Tyler, right!
Yeah, playing a role that doesn't make me want to cover my ears every time she talks.
I guess that's why I was surprised
Actually,
because
I
Liv
forgot if I asked
wasn't
you this
audibly
already,
cringing.
Blibs. Where do you think Liv Tyler is worse? Incredible Hulk 2008 or Armageddon?
Hulk, because that's the only one I've seen.
You're not losing that much with Armageddon. It's a Michael Bay movie and it shows.
Oh, for 13 hours was alright.
Yeah, Michael Bay is
It's
capable of
just the
some
beginning.
good. Oh boy.
Basically, in case you needed a timestamp for this scene, is right before the Fellowship departs.
Oh, well, I just thought of something. What about the people watching the commentary who are watching the disc versions, aka the ones that split off?
Oh god.
I already told what was the breaking point, Dweebs.
Oh, there you go then.
It's the same for when it's made for TV format.
Yeah.
Trust nothing but my bosom.
Peter, tell your costumist to have a more concealing clothes because we clearly can see Liv Tyler's cleavage in this shot. And I know it's probably intentional and everything, but come on, dude.
Again, trust in nothing but my bosom. Which clearly the director seems to trust in, since he clearly showed it off to the audience. How embarrassing.
Also, again, Aragorn, shave a bit your stubble. It's not helping with kisses.
Maybe
Personal
she
experience.
maybe she likes it that way.
I like it rough. The face of me.
Oh, I do miss my love interest.
If only there was a generous girl wanting to fall in love with me.
Yes, that would help spice things up.
Oh, wait, Arwen's time is ending.
Oh, hey, Mr. Smith.
Basically, a thing that though wasn't really in the book is this clause that Elrond is making up. The fact that if she remains on Middle-earth and marries Aragorn and everything, the desperation that is gonna come eventually for Aragorn's death is gonna consume her and make her die.
So she'll be able to die alongside him then? Isn't that...
Yeah, but apparently these troubles Elrond so much and he prefers her to go away. Again, this just prolongs pointlessly the movie, if you ask me.
It's one of those typical ways to try and make a guy doubt whether or not he should be happy with the love of his life.
Also, a nice robe.
Yes, I thought I could.
Boy, they certainly got Leave Tyler cut the wardrobe for this series.
Let me check if they actually credit on Wikipedia who was the costumist, but I don't think so. It surely is in the credits, but I don't want to scour 30 minutes to see them. Let me check. Oh, apparently, well, I haven't found the name of the costumist, but apparently the movie was at least nominated, I don't know if it actually won, for a British Film Academy Award for Best Costume Design. So
Oh,
there's that.
BAFTA. Oh wait, no, that's a game award.
No. BAFTA can encompass many awards.
Oh, this is BAFTA, not BAFTA.
What's the difference, I wonder?
There's not a T.
Maybe they spelt it wrong.
You need to stop judging things based off of narrow-minded cultural assumptions, to you.
Of course.
I love how he was thinking about that all while they were walking.
Now time for another made-up scene. It's time for filling in some action. So in order to compensate from a lack of warg fight in Fellowship of the Ring that was supposed to be happening with the Fellowship, now instead we're having the caravan being attacked by warg knights. This is fine and all. Here's the problem. Because of this, Hama is going to die right now. When he survived, in the book he survives even at the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Dang.
I don't get it.
Maybe his axe wasn't available, I don't know.
Well, he did.
He dead.
Tossed aside like trash while we're at it.
That's the thing also. His actor is a New Zealander, John Lake, and this was one of his first roles, actually.
Dang, like, if it seems weird, I mean, he would definitely be readily available and everything.
Let's check what else he did. Oh, he was actually in the Xena Warrior Princess TV series in the 1990s.
Was that still going when they were in...
No, he already ended. He was in 2 episodes until the 2000. Let's see, he was Mercy Peak. Oh, he was in the Shannara Chronicles. That series is based on the books that nobody cared about. It's a shame. Also, he apparently was one of the evil puppets, monsters in Power Ranger Samurai.
Yeah. She says she can fight, but he's like, no, don't fight, run.
More like he wants the others to have a leader figure to follow. I guess that's the idea behind it.
Let's hope that's what he means.
But that's the thing. The battles that the Rohirrim are going to have now is more of a distraction to let the rest of the caravan moving on. Side note, play the Banner Saga trilogy if you like this kind of thing.
Heard great things about that.
It's an indie series that combines the Oregon Trail with a tactical RPG, and it's kind of amazing, actually. I'm planning, if I actually get all the free game, the trilogy on PS4, I'm planning on a streaming series similar to the one I'm doing to Dark Souls, just including more people, though.
Huh, so those aren't... Ah, weird. I thought those were on Steam.
Actually, they are too. I'm preferring streaming on a PS4.
Makes sense.
They also on Switch, Jova, if you want to try on the go. Anyway, there you go. That's Sharku, leader of the Warg Knights. I think character was made up for the movie because, again, this Warg Knight attack doesn't really happen.
Ooh,
but to be fair,
hurt.
as far as action scene goes, this is pretty nice.
Dang it, that horse had only 2 days left until retirement.
Oh, that's a nice dog.
I had him.
Also, this also is the start of one of the
It's a
things of a
running gag.
bromance between Gimli and Legolas. Basically, a kill count contest.
Yeah.
The two will regularly race each other in who kills the most enemy in battle. Oof.
Oh no, another nameless got killed.
Lieutenant Redshirt. Oof.
Neck crack. Don't mess with Gimli. He may be
Okay,
the comedy
can you-
relief, but he still means business. Another one on top of him.
That's a bad halitosis you got there. Oof. Poor Gimli, Jesus Christ. Okay then.
Wow.
And coincidence of all coincidences, Sharko is the one who picks up Aragorn, of all people. Okay? I mean, overall, I kind of like this fight scene for the purpose of showing that Aragorn is not a Mary Sue, invincible and everything.
Nah, that's for a Legolas.
Yeah, Legolas is pretty much untouchable in these movies. I don't think he reports a single scratch on him.
Because he's the arrow wielder. We always gotta have him fight from a safe distance.
And Aragorn's dead.
He's totally dead, yo.
Oof. So yeah, the attack was a success, but unfortunately a lot of people died. But hey, could have been worse.
He died the way he lived, protecting us all.
And falling from a cliff?
He does that a lot.
Yeah, he died from. He died,
Who
he
are
lived
you,
from
Giz
falling
Howard?
off cliffs, Joe.
Oh my god, maybe he is Geese Howard's ancestor. I killed him! I did
It
it!
all comes tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
Yeah, there was a little joke when the usual suspect did in his review when he said when he said you lie. Then the usual suspect was like, "Oh come on, Orlando Bloom's acting isn't that bad."
So, Dribs, would you say you like Orlando Bloom better in this or Pirates of the Caribbean?
Remember, this was one of his starting roles. Pirates of the Caribbean was immediately after, sure, but this was the trampoline he needed. So technically speaking,
Yes,
by the time of Pirates of the Caribbean, he already had experience.
Wow, from New Line Cinema to Disney.
I know, right? He really was. Well, again, like I said, this served as a trampoline. It's pretty much clear when you follow the pattern. But Orlando Bloom had a career that was propelled by favoritism of some kind. Someone he had needed to have a contact somewhere that helped me get a good agent.
Mm-hmm.
Helm's Deep. I don't know, with a name like that, shouldn't be happy to do that. I mean, look at the place.
Yay! We made
It
it!
is simple but structured effectively. It's basically at the end of a mountain, ravine. So basically, technically speaking, there can't be an assault from behind. Every single assault on the fortress will be from the front. Strategically, it makes sense.
It's a shame we had to lose Aragorn.
Nobody cares.
He's totally dead, guys.
That statue also is for the founder, Helm Hammerhead? Sorry, Hammerhand, I think it's the English name. Keep forgetting, keep confused with Italian ones. Which leads me to another thing that I will say later, title my country.
Wow, we've had a lot of trivia from Italy this commentary.
But look at that, Lives, the mother survived!
Oh. And here you thought she would have died.
Potatoes and molasses.
I was about to say, who died and made the woman king?
Shouldn't I be a queen then?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you will be a queen since your brother is dead.
Pay attention to look at the franticness, the tense that she's having asking for Aragorn.
Where's my
just not in any
squeeze? I mean,
Explicit
Aragorn.
way. Seriously.
Oh, but don't you see, Tio? She loved that one.
Look at her face. Again, nothing against the actor, but look at how she portrays this. It's
Thirsty.
almost insanity.
No, I've got no one to stalk.
Well, there's
Jesus Christ.
there's always his old girlfriend you could stalk.
Oh my god, I just realized now. She's the ultimate yandere.
Well,
I
it
can't believe
depends.
this.
I guess she has to first kill someone in the name of her love for him, but she could be
Yeah,
a
thankfully she
yandere.
doesn't go that route, but I guess it would have been the next step, logically.
Yeah.
But plenty of the women can fight, you prick.
Yeah, again, why...
Just probe him in the caves.
Why did you bother training them if you're not going to have them
I
fight?
think they train themselves, or at the very least they're encouraged to train.
So they're encouraged to train,
So yeah,
but not to fight.
as Grimm is saying, there is technically one weakness, but that grate of iron is too, even if it's rusty, is too solid to bust it. So what to do? Technology, of course.
We have the technology.
Grima?
Yeah, don't,
I don't know if you know this, but there are several YouTube poofs that will, of course, add this effect to the explosion one immediately. Like, it's only that a boom.
What can bring down the wall? No, don't! I mean, it wouldn't necessarily end the movie, but, well...
Totally.
Yeah, time for the establishment. So yeah, an imposing armies of the uruk-hais, as we've seen foreshadowing them getting sworn down and equipped well.
And born.
What? I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. How can you hear them from... How can they hear
To be
you
fair,
from
he's a
somewhere?
wizard. You can say that he's expanding his voice like a megaphone with
Well,
the
the
spell.
usual suspect made a joke of that too in the review of Return of the King. Yeah, considering
Also-
Christopher Lee was the only one of the actors who actually met J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah,
Huh.
and I think that's the last line that Saruman is having for the movie.
Yeah, Saruman from Villain doesn't exactly get to do as much in this movie.
Hell, if you don't count the extended cut of Return of the King, that's his last line in the movies in general.
Yep, because next time he gets killed off screen. Well, or
No,
maybe
he
on
That's for
screen.
the extended cut fixes that, thankfully, but
Joe, he
it's
doesn't-
another.
But he doesn't get killed off screen, they just leave him because he has no power anymore.
Yeah. But again, I will explain more when we get to the third movie.
I guess technically it's not even on screen since we do see you-know-what crumble anyway, but you know.
Anyway, there you go. Like I said before, you have now the Uruk-hai Giant Army, but that's literally it. In the books, it also have the Dunlandians following them, reluctantly. They're still men at the end of the day, but they are corrupted enough. And there is a payoff to that in the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Ooh.
Now, for another thing that was added, but I actually don't mind, this slight diversion of Aragorn being mostly dead. He's not that dead, he's just mostly dead. So please open his mouth.
We really do have to get to commentating on that movie at some
Princess
point.
Bride, yeah.
That one is an absolute classic.
You know, I wonder if Deadpool 2 took inspiration from this bit.
Oh.
Possible. I mean, one of the things about the character of Deadpool in general is that he's super referential, so...
The
Now
kiss
again,
of life.
this bit wasn't necessary in the books. In the books, Aragorn just goes with the rest of the army and just guesses correctly at Helm's Deep how much bigger the army is gonna be. But here instead, it makes a bit more realistic, quote-unquote, sense of him being, slightly diverted from the group, and on his way back, he's gonna see the army approaching and warn everyone in time.
Aw, the horse revived him with a kiss.
Ew. And then Aragorn wakes up and he finds Jean Grey near him.
Aragorn, you killed
Wrong
me!
movie.
Oh, damn it, not again. So I'm supposed to torment this guy, Logan, constantly pops his claws out while he's asleep. Some women
you'll
kind of
find
find that
it.
a fetish.
What's worse is when you want to be the second one that tries to be my love interest. So
You'll
time for the time
find
they
it
already have a
by the
girl.
movie 11 years from now.
Oh, by the way, be mindful around Gandalf. He may be bad news later on.
Yes, Elrond, we get it.
I must remind
So,
you, yes, you told me
I wonder if some
already.
of these scenes were made because Hugo Weaving and Liv Tyler had a contract, that they needed to have a screen time of some kind.
You bothered to hire us? Damn it, we want screen time.
I want to have at least 10 minutes of screen time in the movie.
Yes, Leave Tyler, of course.
Sure, sweetie. Next, you're gonna tell me that you're in a superhero movie. What would be crazy, Dweebs? If the She-Hulk, then Disney Plus series actually brings back Liv as Betty.
Oh my
Remember,
god, and they make Betty
was-
She-Hulk
Don't
because
please.
Betty Brant
Remember,
is
she
She-Hulk.
was snapped, so technically speaking, she went back in Endgame, technically.
What was even the point of snapping Betty if
Jova, I already ranted about how the body count in Infinity War doesn't make sense on a stake point of view.
Oh yeah,
So-
but I mean the fact that they even bothered to bring her up, even though she's
Anyway,
clearly
there you
not
go.
coming
We're
back.
explaining what I mentioned before about the fact that unfortunately, despite his long age, Aragorn will die, and supposedly this will make Arwen depressed and weaver at the end of the day. Now, that's the thing. It's a natural order of things, but the movie is treating it as if when Aragorn dies, it's gonna be the end of the world. But it's not. If anything, it's the contrary. Aragorn is the start of the Age of Man, the new era of Middle Earth in general.
So basically, Father, you're telling me that I will be very bummed out that my husband has
know-
died, and I'll actually get to die so that I don't outlive him for too long.
No, to this Brit, that shot just there made it look like they were shooting a Scottish Widows advert.
I mean,
Single sexy tear.
so you're
No,
telling me
Scottish
that I'll
Widows
be.
is the name of like an investment.
So basically, Father, you're telling me that I'll be sad that my husband dies. No freaking crap.
That is the thing, Jova. He's an elf. He doesn't understand emotions and shit. Elves are not Vulcans, Jackson.
Again,
I get it when you have a boner for stuff, but Star Trek is not the thing to rip off here.
I wish,
But it's funny you say that, considering this film completely crushed Star Trek Nemesis at the box office.
Yeah.
for good reason.
Well, unfortunately, Star Trek had a bad reputation to try to have successful movies and even getting an Oscar. Like, watching Carl's review and telling it, apparently tell that Star Trek First Contact had the worst of it. It has probably one of the best cinematography of the series, but unfortunately it was nominated for one Oscar as for best costumes, and it lost to the Nutty Professor, of all things.
Well, mind you, when I say the Star Trek Nemesis, this film didn't beat Star Trek Nemesis. Sorry, Nemesis didn't beat this film. Nemesis didn't even beat freaking Made in Manhattan, a Jennifer Lopez movie.
So yeah,
Is
Arwen is
Jennifer
totally
Lopez
gonna
box office
go
poison?
with the other elves on the western shores. Sure.
There are many words you can associate with Jennifer Lopez. Quality acting and movies aren't among them.
Well, for
Been
the
a while
movies
since I
I've
actually
seen
saw
her that
the
she's
Cell.
in, I've seen her. Oh, Cell.
Sorry, sort of Visa. The close up.
Plus Geesley.
So speaking of actors that we needed to bring because we have a contract, here's once again Kate Blanchett as Galadriel.
Well, I mean, isn't she Australian?
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean,
Now,
yeah,
this
she's
is-
just a quick hop and,
This point baffles me. Galadriel is describing a bunch of shit that she fears are gonna happen, but they're absolutely red herrings.
It's
Oh,
to
crap, we
keep
still
the
got
audience in
over an hour
suspense,
of
don't you
film
see?
Oh boy, here we go. The city of Osgiliath and everything. Now we go back to Frodo and Sam.
Hey,
Took a
guys.
while. Took a while, didn't it?
Okay, here's the thing, Dweebs. You want to know what happens in the Two Tower? Just the book, mind you, not don't just telling what Brain happens in the book from this point on. This bit is pretty much like I said. It has happened in the movie. Frodo and Sam get captured by Faramir and interrogated. Faramir pretty much laughs off at Frodo, and he basically puts them back on their way with good luck and merry wishes and stuff like that. So what's the rest of the book portion of Frodo and Sam in the Two Towers? The entire bit of them going to Minas Morgul and into Shallow's Nest. The actual book of the Two Towers ends with the scene of Sam going to rescue Frodo from the orcs in Kiri Tungor. I have no idea why Jackson wanted to relegate that bit for Return of the King and instead have this giant filler that goes nowhere in here.
I guess he felt that he
also
needed...
for another thing, Galadriel saying that Frodo is gonna die from the quest. That goes absolutely nowhere. No idea why was that line into the movie.
I guess in terms of why Jackson rearranged things, I guess he didn't want... I guess he wanted to, actually fill out Sam and Frodo's plotline to have more stuff to do in the second one, which, notably, yeah, it seems like they have the absolute least to do in the second book.
That's the thing, Jova. Again, the stuff with Shelob would have been filled up. Consequently, would have been that much to do in the third one, and that's kind of what happens. Most of the third book is concentrated on the other characters getting together, and near the end, the action reprises to Frodo and Sam actually escaping Kiri Tungor and going to Mount Doom. But I know what you're talking to, what you're thinking. Okay, maybe it's because the Al-Bashki version ends at a certain point before Shelob, so Jackson wants to make you reference that. Fine. What does he have to fill in the gaps as a result? A rather boring subplot of Faramir being tempted by the ring, not feeling adequate like his brother, which believe is another thing that the movie is made up, especially with the father of the two, and trying to recapture Osgiliath by bringing Frodo and Sam there.
Intriguing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which to me, basically, this means that every time the movie cuts back to these three, the movie pretty much comes to a screeching halt.
I guess if I were to rate the movies, I think I'd say that Two Towers is kind of my least favorite. I mean,
Sorry, go on.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like a lot of what happens in this movie. As a kid, it used to be my favorite. No, well, okay, it used to be my favorite until obviously I saw Return of the King. But now I see that I get what they're trying to do. Fill out certain...
love this bit, your bodyguard.
the gardener.
I get what they're trying to do, go fill out some of the plot lines here and there and give more substance. I guess the issue is to here it feels the most unneeded. And then
this
is
Jackson. That's the thing, Jova, like Pedro was mentioning in the King Kong. This is exactly the beat of a movie, typical movie where Jackson, as we say in my country, pieces out of a toilet, and the things that he adds could have been easily avoided. Because remember what I said before, there is stuff that could have been legitimately used to fill in this role one way or the other, but instead doing this. But regardless of that, this doesn't help with the characterization of Faramir. In the books, he is essentially a Robin Hood-like figure, jovial, wanting to help. Yes, he's a ranger, but he takes his job well and wants to help with the war. Not, of course, being oblivious to its badness of war, but with a smile. Here, fuck me, you're not gonna see these guys smiling until the very end.
Because that's what you always like. Characters that were usually jovial, now serious, stoic, and never
this
ever
is like the new 52 version of Faramir.
Oh god, the new 52. I think of the heroes that they changed, the ones that were further good were Batman. And
that's because he only had a good writer behind him.
Yeah, thank God. God no on Superman. Wonder Woman, at first it seemed like they had a good idea, but then there was the changes to her backstory.
Also, yeah, Dropkick, Faramir is Boromir's brother. Now, as a revelation, this is important, but what entails with it...
Yeah, they don't do much.
No. Actually, they do. The problem is that what they decide to do with the movie is, I guess, Peter Jackson learned about the whole Shakespearean bit and wanted to do a bit of spin on things for this. Also, this a small bit I think was added in the extended cut of Faramir finding out Boromir's, corpse going around the river, which shouldn't be precisely like that, considering he fell off a waterfall.
Oops.
But artistic license, I totally get it. So I'll give the movie a pass. And now time for another added scene for a flashback. Just to have Sean Bean a bit more in the movie. With a nice Gondor armor. I actually like this look for Boromir. And it's useful to paint him in a good way. Again, because unfortunately a lot of people had the remember of Boromir as this sniveling, almost evil creature that wants to get the ring. But you have to remember that he was just corrupted by the influence of the ring. Beforehand, he really was like the Captain America equivalent of Gondor, a bringer of hope, a leader to his men and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's one good running theme actually between.
Last Sean Bean movie I watched, he was a Bond villain.
Of course, he had to die in that one.
For England lives.
No. Sean Bean's contract, it seems.
And here's another thing. Boromir is actually a really good sport with his brother. It shows that he really loves him.
Now, this is one thing I do enjoy about both the book and the movie here. This running theme of showing how the ring truly can make a monster out of even the best of men.
Yeah. Boromir is the perfect example. A man that you think it would be uncorruptible gets corrupted as a result.
Boromir, you were born in back to the Yorkshire's actually.
Oh, and there it is. Denethor, quite possibly the most mistreated of the characters of the book in the movie. In the book, he's the superintendent of Gondor, the figure that rules in the absence of the king, but he's quite badass. He leads the charges against the orcs, even in the final battle and stuff like that. In the movie, he's just a bureaucrat.
Well, in this movie,
a bureaucrat with a hate boner for Faramir for no reason.
In this movie, he's not that bad. It's just the Return of the King.
Here's one thing I don't get.
I mean, again, no offense to John Noble. I know he's an amazing actor and everything, but come on.
Not only that, but I don't get it. I mean, so Jackson has like this fan boner for like most stuff, but here he does like a complete 180 of the guy's character, especially by Return of the King.
Oh, apparently he was the one, John Noble was the one who voicing Unicron in Transformers Prime. Huh.
Oh, nice.
Guys, spoilers.
Dweebs, you do know that we originally commentated on that, right?
Not to mention, by the time we publish this, we probably already will have commented on it. But anyway, this I wish this one extended scene that I wish was in the theatrical cut. Again, it paints Boromir in a good light. It shows Faramir in a more sympathetic way and actually fucking smiles for once. And even if Denethor is a guy with a stick up his ass, it actually helps foreshadowing a bit why Boromir went to the Council of Elrond and why he decided to go along with the Fellowship. He felt the pressure from his father to do the right thing and everything.
It's an interesting tactic, actually. A lot of these characters already technically had their arcs in the first story, but here's the second one to help build off on them, even though some have sadly passed.
My people, everything was better on my Gondor. Even Faramir is actually more sympathetic. He's like, come on, give me a chance to, read myself. But then he's like, oh no, you fuck up constantly, so now I'm going to send your brother instead.
Why does he hate him that much?
No idea. It's not a thing that is in the book, and the movie doesn't explain it one bit.
This is part of the problem in taking a 180 on...
What was it? Was it one of those things where he was...
The closest thing I can imagine...
Hang on, let me...
Sorry, go on.
Is it like when he was born, his mom died during his childbirth?
No. No. He doesn't have that kind of backstory. Or if he has, the movie again doesn't explain. Again, the closest thing that I can think of is, again, Jackson wanted to homage stories of Shakespeare like Macbeth and have the whole powers against sons motif. And yeah, that's the reason why Farm is constantly depressed. Enjoy.
His father didn't love him.
I mean,
Oh, right, the second in command.
I can get why he's depressed here, but gosh dang, the problem is like, well, Jackson sort of had to take a hatchet to the story in order to get it like that, and for what purpose even? It doesn't really do anything for his character.
The second in command for Faramir, the guy that showed up before and whispered in his ear, is called Madril, and he is played by John Buck. Actually, apparently he went back to be a body double for Saruman in part of the scenes for The Hobbit as a body double.
Cute.
Oh yeah, because Christopher Lee couldn't really go to New Zealand.
It was literally his last role before he passed away, unfortunately. Oop. So yeah, oh no, Gollum might die.
Wow, this is awkward, seeing as how Smeagol now believes that Master will help him.
That again, another thing that this addition makes is to try to give more doubts and ambiguity to Gollum's own story arc. Well, to be fair, I appreciate Andy Serkis dominating the scene as usual, so...
Frodo, maybe you should tell them not to shoot.
Okay, Andy, you have this stick in your hand, you have to beat it vigorously to the earth.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Farmy's like, what the fuck, are you in love with him or something?
Okay, then, well, when you put it like that...
Well, it doesn't go too far off, remember, Dweebs. Technically speaking, Smeagol is also an Hobbit, just a very mutated one.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the pointy ears, and actually, no, the Hobbits never have.
No, look at that. He does have pointy ears. They're just, dirty.
Again, the possession of a ring is treated like a drug, addiction, meaning that the prolonged exposure mutated his body horribly. Again, ring, not even once. Again, this is supposed to showcase the reason why Gollum will eventually betray, because now that he's doing a good job, regaining his Smeagol personality, now you will see this as a betrayal on part of Frodo, and thus he will have a reason to, being a dick.
Yeah, this is really not a good look. Like, why did they have to restrain him even?
Well, I mean, Gollum's not exactly the most trustworthy of people.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure Faramir didn't want his man to have this creature roaming around. Jesus,
That said, though, that's just them being a dick.
That's the thing. In the appendages of the story, though, it's pretty much clear that Gollum is a creature that is lightly known to the men of Gondor, and the fact that they don't like him. The Hobbit has an entire subplot about Aragorn trying to chase him down, and failing spectacularly, by the way. Oh no. Faramir, this is not the right time to be a psychiatrist. Tell him to stop it.
Oh dear.
But you didn't listen.
Smeagol thought Master would be better.
Smeagol is stupid.
Smeagol is.
Smeagol is what?
Stupid.
An idiot sandwich. Also, Smeagol loves to use the pronoun game. Okay, Andy, I get it that you want to dominate the screen, but you don't have to make funny faces like this.
That's called acting.
Oh boy.
And here's another stupid thing that this edition does. This moment where Sam rightfully says to Frodo, just pull on the ring and sneak away just for this one, so just leave me behind and everything. But Frodo is like, oh no, if I do it, they will find me instantly and shit like that. Yes and no. Like, yes, the Nazgul will be alerted of his presence, but it will still take time for them to find him. So maybe the risk would be worth it to, to try it. Not to mention, this contributes to Frodo keeping whining and being useless.
To be fair, though, it has been well established that putting on that ring is a bad idea.
Plus, it can really hurt you. What were you talking about just then?
We were talking about jewelry.
Sam, no!
So yeah, okay. So now it's the breaking point, essentially. So now Faramir knows about the ring, so what is he gonna do?
Kill him.
No.
Well, kill him and take the ring.
Though there's a scene in the Ralph Bakshi movie where Aragorn tricks the viewer into like that, where he's like, because if I wanted, I could have it now, and then he shoots the sword rapidly, like this.
That's
Sure.
probably what your brother thought. Will he or won't he?
Frodo, did the methamphetamine kick the way again?
Oh, consciousness fading!
I regret doing Free Willy.
Hopefully, Happy Feet will wake off.
By the way,
despair.
some minor trivia around about the scenes. This scene originally was supposed to be a bit more graphical, with Frodo going through another transformation similar to the one that Bilbo has for that split second in Rivendell. But ultimately, apparently, it was scrapped because I think even Sam's actor said it was too much for them. But Osgiliath has been attacked. What is Faramir gonna do? Yeah, you were talking about not making the movie too bleak, Dweebs. This certainly didn't help.
Oh, I thought I was doing the Star Wars music.
But again, it's another shot with similar to a Sergio Leone Western movie. Again, I'm pretty sure that was the intent that Jackson wanted to use to portray Rohan. Not to mention, geographically wise, Rohan doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just, there's not a single plain here. It's just a series of bumpy hills and some mountains here and there.
I guess it's great for the helicopter shot.
Maybe it's similar to Scotland in that kind of sense, I suppose. I should ask Shiroi if it's more similar to Wales geography. Whatever you said. Do you have a change, please? I need to pay for the rent.
He's alive?
My stalker senses are tingling.
But anyway, hold on. Okay. Oh, fuck you too. Also, another reaction image. That's Smile of Aragorn.
Yeah, I thought I was going to respond to him. No, that's bad. No, that's terrible.
Oh, I sense that my squeeze is alive.
Seriously, Edwin, get the fuck over it. But he got the symbol of his lover. That means he's unreachable for me.
I'll have to kill her then.
Seriously, Edwin, do you need an axe to kill someone?
Oh god, then she'll go on Mirai Nikki on him.
Or how about Happy Sugar like
I love this intro. It's so bad. just casually walks in and
Yeah. It was actually shown in a lot of promotional, not trailers, but promotional materials, like in TV news. Actually, I remember it showing a cow a lot of times.
Anyway, you were saying Hyper Sugar Light to you?
About Happy Sugar Life, that's one fucked up story.
Yandere involved.
Yes, but even worse. I'll tell you more of commentary.
Even worse than freaking Gazai, who's often considered the queen of Yanderes? Oh, that's I've gotta hear.
Okay. So it's time for war preparation. Oh, sure. Adding some IKEA boards to the door will totally reinforce it.
Oh, goody.
Okay, Gimli, that's nice, but how did you know? It's Aragorn who spotted them.
I guess Gimli is the master of knowledge there.
Okay. What pillage? There's nothing in the plane in front of you.
All the supplies we've got, they're just that kleptomaniacal. What
It's
he
like, you
said.
deep shit, I'm trying to making a speech to raise everyone's morale. Jesus.
There's always that one person in a crowd. Just like there's always somebody who brings Rotten Tomatoes to a speech. Seriously, what Danny DeVito said, just why?
Oh, about this. Yeah, it would be totally impossible for the elves to show up.
It's not like there's a traveling entourage of them.
No, it's not. That I'll save it
Yeah,
for
but
later.
he's not exactly happy where the Gondor didn't exactly come to
Yeah.
help them, so...
And
It's a winking to the entire backstory of the Kingdom of Rohan, and it's a difficult relationship with Gondor. There's a reason why it did split up and wasn't its super best friend ally.
And
for a long
elves
time.
have not exactly been the most friendly of creatures. I mean, okay, Legolas is cool.
And dwarves
one-
of poof, don't even start with that.
Oh yeah, they caught a bit of the
Greedy
death.
assholes who keep inside the mountains to convert goals.
And now they're pretty much dead for it, too.
Actually, well, only part of them. There are still the one on the Blue Mountains, stuff like that.
Yeah, but do we ever really hear from them?
Not in the movie, but in the books, yes, actually. In fact, one of the appendages tells that one of the side stories was that the dwarves in the north, the one that conquered and occupied then the Lonely Mountain after the events of the Hobbit, actually fought against the Sauron forces that were trying to get to the north. King Dain died, unfortunately, but the dwarves still survived as species.
So we could have had that, but we wasted time on that stupid plot arc with John Noble's
Now,
character.
to be honest, the particular thing, it is a subplot for an appendage, so I can totally see it not being used because it doesn't contribute too much. It's just another side story. But to more on point, instead, the Ents are finally, after a long time of absence, gathering together near their magic stone. I don't even know what that is, to talk about the fact that if they need to go on war or not. Don't fall asleep, dweebs.
Don't worry, I'll...
I know that the ends make you fall asleep, but... Oh,
Robber.
military orders, we need to shout everything.
Stop lively now! 410 session!
It's a good thing that it's not an American setting, otherwise it will tell to blow shit up. Oh my god, what do you want? I want to
I
fight
want
and
your
everything.
babies.
Dit is het meest orthodoxe. That is actually true. Basically, Aragorn is like, ask your dad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, can you even be more obvious? Jesus Christ. Aragorn, file a restrictive order on her.
What are you talking about? She was totally so subtle with it. As subtle as
Yeah.
a brick.
Spikes on it.
And an anvil.
So yeah, one of the advantages of Helm's Deep is that it's connected to a series of underground caves that can protect the civilians in times of need.
Yeah. I'll tie my hair up. That'll disguise
In the
my gender.
in the books, Gimli even noticed that these were also a part of the dwarf territories of those particular mountains. So it's not too far-fetched that the other communities of dwarves may have helped Helm Hammerhand to build it.
Also like this music.
Hmm?
I like the music here as well. I have to be a bit more quiet now because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. They said, young man. Yeah, no, not really worth it.
Because we're going to
yeah,
die
Women-
today.
To die.
Because we're going
Okay.
to.
Yes, Livza?
the women can't fight. You have a bunch of farmers and that.
And kids. Like, even at the worst, just give them sticks.
Maybe because we're not giving
What did
everyone
you
a
say?
weapon.
Seriously, why did they return?
300
Against
10,000.
10,000.
Oh, but haven't you heard? Sometimes it takes only 300 Spartans to down the enemy.
Especially when your writer is Frank Miller.
Mm-hmm. Admittedly, that was Frank Miller before his mind jumped the track.
I know.
And don't worry, Dwibs, it still has some of his mannerisms, just when they're tolerable.
Well, which mannerisms?
Frank Miller. Let's just say that 300 was pretty much in the middle of these phases. Oh, anyway, actually, I kind of like this speech that Theoden is giving. Again, Theoden is actually a really great character for this movie.
Yeah, they definitely did his character
I
justice.
don't know if it's the actor.
I don't let some of the trained women fight. Have a bunch of farmers and.
I don't know if it's the actor understanding the role or just the direction in general, but good job.
It's actually an interesting bout we've gotten to see with Theoden, from him being a senile old withering man who was under the possession of Saruman to this.
But despite being the king, he is still doubtful. He understands his positions, but doesn't know if he's doing the right choice and everything.
And yet all this time you want to see him succeed because, god dang it, he suffered a lot.
He himself admits that he's in a delicate position. The age of man is at an end. He knows about who Aragorn truly is, and he doesn't know what to think about it.
I just realized something. Aragorn is a human who can live for an incredibly long amount of time. He's basically a Hylian.
Yeah, not just that. Again, as the dialogue with Elwyn said before, Theoden knows Aragorn since Theoden was a child. This kind of puts things into a weird perspective too.
So not only that, but when you get down to it all, since Aragorn is in love with his love interest,
I don't know Theoden, honestly.
No. I was talking about how, one thing I realized, how Hylians, despite being humans, for some reason have pointy ears? Maybe it's because, since he's in love with the elf, maybe they get their pointed ears from his wife. Or love interest, or whatever. It would explain it. They get
Lips, don't fall asleep like Pippin.
Wow, they're still delegating.
Yeah, they take freaking forever to make up to decide on stuff.
What are they, British Parliament?
This bit was actually added in the movie just to show that the ants are slow at
Wait, it took them
talking.
that long to say freaking good morning.
You know what you could have done without adding this pointless minor comedy bit that's not really funny movie? Actually took the time to talk about one of the characters that is in the book. I think it's called Fast Lightning or something. It's another one of the ant, and he's remarkable because he talks faster than everyone else, even Treebeard. So for their standard, he's like super speedful. He's like the
Blind
Flash.
Treebeard speaks fast.
So yeah, preparation time. Oh, funny story. This kid, who I don't know who the actor is, here's hoping he actually got a career as well. In the Italian dub, is voiced by the same voice actor who was voicing Harry Potter in those years.
Oh, wow. Cute.
Oh, son. So yeah.
Oh,
I actually don't know if
I
it's
thought
the same.
It was a girl until
I actually don't know if it's the same Hama that died, because if I recall correctly, it is a common name in Rohan, so it's possible. Don't bother, this scene was just made for the movie anyway. Also, that sword is clearly not sharp enough, kid. Go back to his blacksmith.
And then he cuts the kid's head off by mistake.
Aragorn, you cheap-ass liar. Send him back to the blacksmith, come on.
no, it's to raise his morale and all that, you know, even though that thing could use some sharpening.
And now, time to man up, like it's an actual movie you need to load your shotgun.
And then you see the bat nipples.
This movie really has everything.
It does.
Bat nipples?
Again, there's a reason why I still think this is like the new Star Wars, because it's similar to that. It combines a lot of genres that were happening in the previous decades.
Wow, Legolas, your tone's changed from earlier when he was like, "We're gonna die."
Yeah, basically they just made up. It's okay now. Glad that that tension is gone now.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
But I'm sorry, Dibs. Gimli is still goofy. Seriously.
Maybe it's because our...
Everyone pointed him at. Oh no, it's now. Okay.
Can I do
Dibs,
this bit?
first you say what you need to say.
Okay, these particular people being sent to help was originally going to be led by Arwen,
Yeah.
Tyler's character. However, there was, of all outcry, it was the fans that objected because it wasn't like the book. Gee, because there's been scenes in this movie that aren't like the book before this bit.
I'm more
How did
baffled
the
by
fans
of
even
all
know?
Of all the things that changed from the book, it's this the one way to complain the most about.
Also,
not
how
So
did...
Faramir.
instead we get that guy.
Haldir,
Also, how
the guy
did...
that was with Galadriel. Here's the problem. In the book, there are no elves at all. It's just a throwaway line that Legolas said to Gimli while preparing. He's like, "Oh, I wish there were 100 of my compatriots fighting with me, but alas, we can't." But Jackson took it like, "Nah, let's have elf in the battle."
So I think he was only in like one scene before.
Yeah,
and
he was
now
the one who escorted people to there, but now he's super bro with Aragorn.
So how
Yeah.
the heck did fans even know about that? Was this one of the things publicly shared?
I think it was like interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
so
more
yeah.
surprised that the outcry
Actually-
managed to reach him without the use of the internet.
So thanks fandom. Now we got Blandy
Hon-
McBland as
Honestly,
the lead.
Dweebs, I have no idea how if Arwen would have been that much better of a choice, considering the choice
At
in
least we
itself is a
know
bad one.
Arwen. Who the hell is this guy?
Wow, I'm hearing Dwip's pine for a Leave Tyler character. Now I know I've stepped into the Twilight Zone.
But yeah, now it's time for the climax, so basically the Battle of Helm's Deep. And to be fair,
We're in
it's
for a pretty
really
good
cool.
one.
Yeah. In contrast with Ralph Bakski's adaptation, Gimli, for fuck's sake. By the way, in one early copy that I had of his movie, the DVX1, back in the early 2000s, it was a cinema rip, and along this scene, you could easily hear some of the audience giggling. It was very distracting. But anyway, in contrast with Ralph Bakski's adaptation, the background here to represent the dark and stormy night is blue towards black, while in the Ralph Bakshi version is red towards black.
Yeah, the
Also,
Ralph Bakshi
God,
version really
that's a
loves
bad
the
timing
colors.
for making it rain.
Yeah, Ralph Bakshi seems to really love the colors red and black when it comes to his Lord of Ring movies.
He tries to do the negative space thing that Frank Miller loves.
So yeah, in an interesting turn of fate, the elves actually are nicer now and are willing to help.
Well, I
Kudos.
need all the help they can get.
Oh yeah,
I
By the way,
can I
get
help?
used to these back and forth shots within the cave where the kid was constantly crying because we're gonna get so many of these.
Oh, but will somebody think of the children?
No.
No.
They're who we're fighting for.
Thanks for the encouragement.
Yeah, whatever you said, buddy.
I can speak Elven.
What about the
What
By the
he
way,
said.
interesting. Another part of method acting. The actors who played the Uruks and the extras who played the Uruks and the extras who played the elves, were purposely left distant towards each other. And just for shits and giggles, the Uruk extras started to antagonize off, recording the others in order to create a bit more tension and rivalry between the two. That's kind of cute.
Dang.
Not the time movie. Jesus fuck.
Dang. That was cold, Legolas, even for you.
We could just attack. We could just attack.
No, let's
Was
antagonize
about
them further.
dish. Was about dish.
Ubabwe! Ha ha! Wefa!
It's like the hacker in rugby union. Oh, yeah. See.
Ole,
dude.
ole. Oh, there we go.
Keep your steady. Keep your lens steady. Come on, seriously.
Well, I'm
Oop.
done.
No, and that's the reason why we're attacking. We were actually starting to be nice, but because we killed that guy, now we're attacking.
It's like the hacker the New Zealand rugby players do. I get the tradition and I respect that and all, but it kind of takes forever.
In
We're all
hindsight, we
almost 3
shouldn't have
hours
shot
in,
the
till then. About
arrow.
time.
Oh yeah, we are almost 3 hours in. Again, that's the magic. It's
I mean,
been
that's
almost
the-
3
It's a
hours.
kind of magic.
Rugby World Cup. That's what we we just stood in a B position while they did the hacker. I just smiled at them.
Pew 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 pew.
Pew pew pew! Pew 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 pew!
No. Okay, but props, Jackson, props 101. In medieval setting, people did not say fire when releasing arrows. Just letting you... It's a thing that Hollywood doesn't get all the time. Even Game of Thrones fell into it in its last season.
Tio, this isn't medieval times or real Earth stuff. This is Middle Earth.
Even worse, because they actually don't have guns in equivalent here.
Come on, where's that Wilhelm scream?
Pretty sure it's close enough right now. So yeah, being the crafty technologies that he is, Saruman gives nifty tools to the Uruks, starting with ladders. And not just with any Uruks, berserkers.
Oh boy, which means they've got a heck ton of endurance.
They don't have that much armor, but they can resist pain and have a huge ass blade. Perfect for first line assault.
Thank goodness they didn't give the berserkers armor, otherwise they'd have been doubly tough to take down.
There's the one.
There you
There
go.
we go. I just knew it had to be coming close.
Where did that scream come from?
It first came
particular
from a
movie-
scene where a guy is attacked by a crocodile.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. I mean, a lot of people think that it originated from Star Wars, but
Oof.
no, it came even before Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll commentate on that movie. Just to see the origin of it.
Oh, get it? He hit that guy in the crotch. Even though it doesn't make sense because Uruks don't have genitalia.
Are we sure they don't, Tio?
No, they get fabricated. They're like automatons.
Well, who
Biological
knows?
automatons.
Maybe they were born with the junk and we just never see it.
I'm pretty sure Saruman will not do that failure design like that.
Wait, what makes you think it would be a failure design? Oh yeah, obvious weak point.
For
Then
massive
again,
damage. Alright, Treebeard, do you have a consensus?
No, we're having to wait on what we're deciding what dinner we want. Drum roll, please.
yes?
Great action. Yeah, John Rhys Davies fell asleep on screen. Okay.
Hooray! You've agreed that we're not orcs!
Celebration was held.
That deserves completely other delegations.
I am pouting.
You need our help! Please do not try to go all mystical fortune teller cookie on us.
Well, that's not the thing. He actually did say that in a nice the thing that makes sense. So the fact that war hits everyone, no matter what you decide to do.
True.
And on the other hand, what he's saying right now makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bobby.
What's going on?
Oopsie. That's 20. 21 soldiers he has taken out.
Second nifty tool, a siege ram. Completely protected with tower shields.
Oh boy.
Except to the side. See?
Yeah. Don't call it. Come on.
Don't jinx it. You know,
Third tool, the one we saw before, actual bombs.
Yeah, you know, unusual suspected a joke is what would happen if the thing blew up in the middle of his sentence. Is this it? Is this it? You could just...
Okay, Dweebs, now it's time for the Shawshank Redemption theme. Dun, dun,
And now
dun,
for the
dun,
running of a
dun.
torch.
Dun, 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 dun. Go forth, your proud berserker.
That guy
could.
that guy has a mission.
Yeah. Well, they don't call them berserkers for nothing.
Yay!
He even took the dive. Kudos. That guy really did
And-
his job.
Physics-wise, it actually does make sense. Placing a bomb under it causes immense pressure. That means that the entire wall blows up like this.
And this is what I can conjure, King.
Now, I don't remember if the explosion was also part of the book or not, but to be honest, it does make sense, and it gives a bit more spice to the battle, so I'll let it pass.
Oh, was it like in the book it imploded?
I don't remember. Unfortunately, one thing is that despite my memory and being fond with the books, I don't remember completely everything about it.
They
Well,
are
to be
pretty
quoting the
lengthy things.
To quote in the songs, dweebs, I'm only human after all. Push!
Oh!
Push!
Throw
And
rocks
that's
at
Peter
them!
Jackson. Yeah, that was the obligatory Peter Jackson cameo.
Wow.
Hit it with a rock.
I know I
Yeah,
said
about
how
that.
bad could it get, but just remember not to give up.
Aragorn, you may want to get up. Also, Gimli jumping like that is a very stupid idea considering all the spikes.
Not to worry, he has got this. And then he hit Gimli by mistake.
That would have sucked.
Here we go. Yay! Okay, now this is actually stupid.
So,
Orlando, no.
Woo! Look at how awesome Legolas is,
Like, I
guys.
really do wonder if it was Jackson's idea or Orlando Bloom,
I
or
wo-
both.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder why Jackson really likes Legolas that much.
Now, to be fair, all of these are really stupid. So when I had more pointless padding, have but instead, like in the book where the end go like, sure, it may be a difficult thing, but we'll go in the war immediately. Have Previous say, no, we're not gonna do it, and then having go back immediately one scene after. Like,
Part
what was
of
the point?
this world.
What was the point of this?
Oh, it's to have a later scene where they see the scourges of war, and that brings them into it.
You know, you could do that without the unnecessary conflict.
But it's to show that they don't want to join in? Yeah, okay. It's not like they're like this peace-loving race or anything. They clearly would go to war if they had the right motivation, so... Yeah, I guess it's to give them a better motivation to not seem like they're pushovers to them. I guess. We're just the comic relief until it comes down to the importance. Unless one of us ends up taking out the bad guy. Oh, shh, not yet.
So yeah, Mary is like, yeah, if we don't do something, everything will burn in the end.
Well, when you put it like that, shite.
Also, Jova message in the chat. Here we go.
Yeah, that could work out.
Okay, I know
do
what
that,
to do
Dwibs?
then.
Dwibs?
oh, sorry, I was doing something.
Just
message
answer,
in
just
the
answer
chat.
in the chat. Don't worry, I'll be able to read it. But yeah, this is a first. Thing. Oh no, here's another thing. So we wanted to add Aldir to the fight. Okay, for this, that's nice enough. And now we're gonna kill him. For no reason, mind you. In the book, he doesn't even show up, so of course he leaves.
Don't you
Why
see?
did you,
It's to
why did
show
you
that
brought him here to kill him?
the elves can be better and they're not willing to die for us humans.
You're
Also, with the
essentially-
way that swing was
not
going
to-
downward,
not to
shouldn't that
mention-
have cleaved him in half in the head?
Not to mention, aside from having Aragorn doing this minor killing spree, this just doesn't serve any purpose at all. So it's not even fridging. In that
Look
kind
at
of
all
sense.
the death and destruction and.
Yes, Lives.
So yeah, you introduce him, and now he's
Dead.
But hey, at least we know his name.
You know, I have to wonder. Do you think they were planning to kill Arwen originally with the
No,
scene?
no, that wouldn't make sense at all.
I get the feeling it's not Peter Jackson, right? Okay.
Yay!
Don't want Arwen fighting? Fine. I'll bring in some other guy and kill him off.
Meanwhile, the door is fallen as well. So overall, you're not having a great day.
Yeah, sorry!
Okay, I think it's a good time to mention it here. Now, the reason why the Dunlandians were present in the battle was for Aragorn at around this point approximately to show up on top of the walls, yell at them that he was the rightful leader of mankind, and the Dunlandians would have been scared shit and move away, and leaving only the uruk-hai. That would have been amazing to showcase Aragorn's story arc to become the new king of Gondor and stuff like that. But no, we're cutting that completely away for no reason. And leaving the Dunlandians is just a thought for the beginning.
It's like you said,
Well,
this
again,
this
these
installment
movies are
does
long
seem to have the weirdest decisions made out of the three.
Well, again, these movies are long enough.
Again, Dweebs, there are things that could have been cut away to be replaced with this.
Also, would it really have taken that much time for him to, mention that he is the true king around this
When you
scene
really
here?
think about it, all we needed to do to add, just not add other shots, but including the Lunanians in the scenes where the army is marching, and have like 1-2 minutes tops a scene here.
So are in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, that actually was the point. Aragorn, with that speech, was managing to, drive away part of the enemy force. But no, instead we have Gimli getting over his fear of jumps, like in the first movie. Okay.
Oh.
Whee!
Surprise!
So yeah, there you go. Thanks to this and the narrow passage, we managed to buy some time. This really is like 300.
I think 300 was a comic around this time, so
Yes,
maybe they could have taken some inspiration from it.
Fourth tool, ballistas.
Uh-oh.
And not just any ballistas. They can fire single projectiles, but they're also useful for another thing. Anchoring ropes that are tied to ladders. And just by pulling, there you go, and anchoring yourself like this. Yay, like monkeys. But Legolas wants to be more badass, so let's try something.
Yeah, Legolas is still showing.
Show off. Pew!
Oh shit!
Shit! I love how the music interrupts specifically just to let the audience hear the uruk-hais squealing. Thanks, asshole.
That's right. The amount of people who have screamed Aragorn's name, you'd almost
seriously,
think this was
and none of the uruk-hai with projectiles try to shoot them.
Oh.
Jesus.
Oh. Okay. That didn't end so well for
Come
him.
on, Legolas, do it. Pull it, pull.
Pull! I'm doing all that pulling yet.
Ow. Oh well. So yeah, exactly what Theoden has said about the enemies not breaching. That's exactly what happened. Complete to the details. Well, to be fair, I actually kind of like this shot. It's a continuous aerial shot that showcases a lot of things happening at the same time.
Question.
What?
Yes?
Where did Gandalf go?
Yeah, he's calming, Dweebs. Remember what he told? Oh, here we go.
I'll be delayed. I'm filming the next X-Men movie.
He said on the 5th day.
So
How
yeah,
many days has it been,
this,
Dweebs?
This gives Pippin an idea. So, what kind of accent are you having, Pippin?
Scottish.
I suppose. Totally.
I have a crystal ball.
Sure you do. And I'm a girl.
No, not him, Saruman.
Oh, for a moment it sounded like you were voicing for the tree.
I don't know, well, even if Treebeard is like, it doesn't make sense, he just buys into it.
Treebeard's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
Well, again, the answer, like I kind of said, they've been asleep for a long time, so...
They're not exactly idiots, but they're very out of touch with the world.
Yeah. Meanwhile... Gotta love how this is an obvious day to night shot. Oh no, at this very moment, Osgiliath burns. 'Cause the sun is setting. 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 'C Faramir, I'm telling you, this subplot is stupid. It should have been cut away. Pull them back again. Let this subplot go. Faramir, you have to let this subplot go. Seriously, when even the movie is calling out about some problems. So yeah, this is basically the equivalent of a tree graveyard amount of corpses.
Mm-hmm.
Don't smile when you say that.
Ten out of 10 Scream.
Then Saruman wakes up, it's like,
Well, that's the idea. He needs to wake up all the trees.
No, Saruman's asleep.
Oh, okay.
Wakes up, his hand goes right back to sleep.
So yeah, gotta love also the choice of words again. Treebeard is so pissed off that he said that there is no word in any language to basically call Saruman out on his treachery. This scene also, as you can see, the scene with the trees moving, but was slightly extended cut to foreshadow what's gonna happen later.
So yeah, looks like the original decision to not participate in the war has just been overturned.
Not just that, apparently all the other ends were already ready, which again makes the entire conflict about it completely pointless.
But now they have a real reason to fight.
Their own species is in danger.
Pretty much. That's how a lot of people get involved in a war when they start getting threatened.
No, you're not. Again, I don't know where this comes from.
I guess they fear that they may die.
I suppose. But again, he's treating it like that's what's gonna happen.
Maybe this is why I think I'm beginning to see why I prefer Return of the King. Return of the King isn't nearly this down in the dumps on itself. Like, Jesus Christ, people go on, we'll probably die or this or that.
Frodo is gonna die from his quest, stuff like
Return of the
that.
King still has some issues with pacing.
Honestly, Dwebs, pacing issues aren't even the worst thing. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, pacing issues can be a thing, but they aren't enough to drag down a movie. Like, again,
Oh, sorry, go on.
I think part of the thing is, like, it feels like Return of the King actually gets more stuff done. And yeah, I guess maybe that's because it's the finale, but it feels like it spends more time on getting stuff done rather than whinging and whining and moaning, which it feels like this movie may have just a bit too much of.
So yeah, one thing that I can salvage from this sequence is the fact that in the extended edition it goes in contrast with that scene from before in Osgiliath. Now everything is in doom again and Gondor has very low morale. Frodo? Oh god, the methamphetamines are kicking it again.
Must be some real good stuff he's on.
No. He heard about the premise of the piano film he was going to be in that decade from now.
Oh, the one where if he plays the wrong note, he dies?
Yeah.
Sucks to be him.
Oh yeah, this bit.
I don't like you calling out this subplot, mister. Take him away.
Oop.
Elijah?
Action, Mr. Wood.
I'm ominous now.
Oh shit.
Oh dear.
Well, this is a bit of a pickle.
Also, not to mention, now that I think about it, chronologically wise, this doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of what's happening at the same time. Keep in mind, the climax is entirely happening at the same time, and with the Fangor forces and the developments deep, kind of makes sense. But now we cut to Osgiliath, and it's already pretty much a bit after dawn. So, what happened?
Oh. Also, it's been a long time since we've seen the Nazgul.
Well, yeah, their presence in the movie is not that
What are they
important.
called? The ring raid.
Well,
It's both. Yay, what a killjoy. Oh no, if only we could defend ourselves. And now he's like, finally can kill something.
Oh my god, he's in another movie where he's asking for women and children to go first, just like Titanic. Wow. You know,
Oof.
uruk-hai is a very fancy way to just say orc.
That's because they're a variant of the orcs.
Right.
Like what Gandalf said in the first movie, it's a very mixture of orc and goblin fused in a more powerful being. So Aragorn is like, well, we don't really have a choice, so let's go Leroy Jenkins. About time.
Oh, so that's what Gandalf meant. Do we?
And the person who will do that is Wait, why Gimli?
Well, you've been complaining that he's just comic relief, so...
Oh, sure, why not? I just don't understand why him and not one of the other people of Rohan, since he's more fitting.
Because Gimli's had enough of his shenanigans,
Not to
dang it.
mention, he's a dwarf that is established cannot run that much, but he has enough air in his lungs to breathe in that thing.
Well, dwarves have a knack for blowing their horns.
Right, Charles, let's do this. Leroy
Jenkins!
I mean, honestly, I understand where they come from. They're like, yeah, we're outnumbered, so let's at least try to do as many casualties as we can.
It's like a fun game of dominoes.
I said that. Yeah, let's go with Lord of the Rings, the
Dominoes.
The dwarves steal.
Oh, there you go, Dave. You wanted Gandalf? There he is.
Sorry, I was filming X-Men.
Along with a character, just so you can recognize him better.
Carl Urban, yay!
Yay, he was in things.
Star Trek, Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I actually like the music videos for this scene.
Finally, after
It's actually
all
one use of the woman sings in the as a high-pitched voice in the background moment that I actually like.
Finally, after all the pain and suffering, now is the time for triumph.
Yeah, against a wall of spikes. What are you gonna do?
Charge in, not guns, since we don't have those.
That's the thing. Gandalf is totally cheating. Why? Because he's having Sunrise to help him. If he didn't, everyone would have died here.
God is willing to help you. Maybe now you'll stop whinging and moaning.
Oof. Meanwhile, and here's an interesting plot point that they actually kept from the book that it makes sense. The tower, that is called the Tower of Orthanc, no matter how much you hit it or much stuff you throw at it, cannot be broken because it was built in a time that the material that it was built it was unbreakable. So I appreciate that.
It's a nice culmination. Everyone's got their own battles that they're
So
fighting.
Saruman, you want to say something about it?
This
No?
is most displeasing
Okay.
to my plans.
Oh shit! Yeah, you see, this is where the trees start to shine.
When they start to kick ass. No? Still saying nothing? There you go, see? Oh shit, about that dam that you mentioned before. Again, the whole story arc here is that technology is bad and nature is ultimately triumphant, which again, understanding the timestamp in which Tolkien wrote the books, can totally see where he was coming from.
Boy, if he
You had
thought
a
World
more-
War One was bad, wait till he saw World
The
War
sequel that
Two.
nobody wanted.
Yeah.
I guess he had a more optimistic view of the future.
It's not like Star Trek Insurrection either.
I love how trivial is like, come at me, bro.
Yeah, and the whole I love that bit of detail that the one that was set on fire puts himself out.
Yeah.
It's the little things that help.
Shit. No, still don't want to say anything? Okay. Okay.
Frodo, you're still looking creepy, I see.
Do you want also eyeliner and start doing a silly dance? Yeah, despite the fact that he hasn't put the ring on, now for this section Frodo is surprisingly attracted to the Nazgûl to give him the ring. No.
Well, he's right. Oh, he's closer to Mordor, and look at these guys.
I have some spare change. Do you want a piece of bread?
Yes, I would. But first, the ring. Ah. Looks like he's shooting a fragrance commercial there.
L'Oreal, because I'm worth it. Hey,
Boy,
I mean,
good
let's do
shot.
something.
Oh boy, Father's gonna be so proud of me for that one. No, he won't.
Get it? Because Frodo did the same thing to Gollum before. Okay, I will give the movie this for all the pointlessness and the bleakness of this subplot. The summation that Sam is about to do is charming enough.
My God, what was I about to do?
Okay, but mind you, some of the larger woods line reading's a bit odd.
I know, right? Stop pointing out it. Seriously. Jackson, if you really felt as if this shouldn't have been, a thing, a divergence we should have made, why do you have your characters still doing it and being pointing it out?
I think the irony is lost on MTO.
He's not the only writer, to be fair.
That
I
too.
suppose. Well, actually, yeah, I do wonder if this change was Jackson's idea, one of the other writers, or New Line Cinema.
There were quite a few cooks in the kitchen with these scripts.
Remember, New Line Cinema was still mostly it was still its own entity at this point.
Before getting absorbed into...
WB.
Yep.
Although even then, New Line still has a bit of autonomy.
A
Mhm.
bit.
It's not even that useful now anyway, because the Tolkien estate has found a new contract anyway for
With
the series.
Yeah, with Amazon, yeah.
I think WB is still behind it
Oh,
somehow.
curses! Foiled
Just not with the
again!
entire control. But again, like I said, this animation is nice enough.
I love how Saruman goes like, curses! Foiled again, and then just goes back into the tower.
To be a shut in with his magic ball.
Don't worry, guys. I've agreed with the company. The script.
Aww. For as much as I have dogged on this movie, I'll definitely give it this, that this climax is definitely well worth it.
Oh yeah, Gollum is also here too.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't end 6 times.
So Faramir, are you finally starting to see reason?
You know?
From one depressed person to another.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the thing that is being said right now, the fact that, oh, your right will be forfeit, that doesn't come into play at all in Return of the King. So I have no
Oops.
idea where it comes from too.
Alright, killing them.
Release them from their lives. Oh yeah, this is another added scene that showcases what happened to the remains of the uruk-hai army. Just a convenient forest lying out here. By the way, in the Return of the King official video game, the tutorial level is actually you chasing down the uruk-hais in the forest.
And
Actually kinda
slaughtering
nice.
them.
Yeah. But here instead, it's just left to the imagination.
I guess we can assume that the trees took care of them.
Oh no, you can see that, but it's just left to the imagination. What do they do?
Dag.
Yeah, they squished him.
In the wise words of Jeff Goldblum, life always finds a way.
So
I'm still stalkers, by the way.
don't worry, someday you will be mine.
Also, not one last minute addition to have the score of the two.
42. Against.
Oh, you resent that. Sour loser.
Oh, come on now.
You're a bunch of 8-year-olds. Jesus Christ.
So who's gonna be picking out the curtains in the relationship?
I don't know. And for one another, and it seems that I actually kind of like Merry Pippin getting spoils of war, actually.
And it's better than the other scene at this point in the original version where they just say, oh, Saruman's no threat now.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Stop with the height contest.
Compensation.
Oh, fucking hobbits.
Don't we
Oh,
eat apple? It's got
apples,
dirty water.
The asshole's favorite fruit.
Uh,
Dirty water on it.
beggars can't be choosers,
Maybe
dwarves.
they're clean more like this. Oh, roast chicken. Oh, that's not good to eat.
When it's wet.
Yeah.
You know, mind you, they'll probably just. I mean.
Oh, an entire dispenser. And with, there you go, with tobacco marijuana thingy.
Now we can get high.
long bottom leaf. Apparently, for all these pontifications, Saruman actually kept some leaf for himself.
Huh.
It actually gets better in Return of the King, where Saruman even asks, when he meets again the Hobbits, Saruman even asks Pippin and Merry to give him back the leaf that they stole it from him.
What was that, in the movie or the video game?
The book. The
Oh,
book.
the book. How are the Lord of the Rings video games?
Actually, surprisingly good for most of them.
Hmm.
I recommend also the Elseworld, quote unquote, a take on them, like the Battle for Middle Earth RTSs, the Third Age, I think it's called, which is an Elseworld story with a bunch of original characters, do not steal, which function like Final Fantasy X as an RPG. And then more recently, of course, Middle Earth, Shadowmoor, and Shadow War.
Nice.
This bit also was slightly added as a foreshadowing of the events of Kirith Ungol and Shelob, but I don't know how much it does since it already has farming, so it goes like, you cannot go there, but we have to. Okay then.
But hey, they're going to a place where people like gardeners.
Is it too late to say that it's very dangerous? Then again, you guys are probably used to that at this point.
So yeah, there is something that dwells in the caves along Minas Morgul, but what it is, we'll have to find out in the next movie.
Gollum knows.
But thou must. Yeah, Faramir's like, okay then. You see what I mean?
But they have the goodwill now of men.
I suppose. I am watching you.
You do know I bit one of them earlier.
Well, get off that habit then.
Get off the habit or you'll be a dead hobbit.
Get off the Hobbit.
See, I just said that.
Sorry.
Aww.
This is also yet another bit that doesn't make a lot of sense. Over the course of the book, particularly that moment with the Honor Dreams, Sam starts to mellowing out a bit with Gollum and trusting him just a bit more. Not completely, but just a bit more. But here in the movie, doesn't make a lot of sense. We just passed through a very bleak moment, and Gollum has done nothing for Sam to gain his trust again, but now he's talking like this.
I guess he felt sorry for Gollum and how he was treated.
I suppose. But anyway, final summation.
This does not please me one bit. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
put a smile on my... Actually, I don't even have a face. I'm just an eye.
But sir, Saruman isn't a huge threat, right?
Of course he bloody is. What kind of idiot will tell you that?
You were the regular version, sir.
Oops.
Well, for
And
fucking...
now, like I said before, this is kind of the point also where the Al-Bashki version ends, pretty much. So I do wonder if Jackson just wanted to be cute and ending them at the same point.
Would not surprise me.
Well, it is a bit... I mean, it's like a series of unfortunate events. One adaptation that tries to compress books into shorter bits had to cut off at a certain point before reaching the end. So many, many years later, they make one that does complete the series.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there also a movie that you know that actually tries to adapt 5 books into one or something?
Oh yeah, the Spiderwick Chronicles movie. Apparently it got positive reception, but it's been a
I
long
only know
time.
it by name, but I haven't seen it myself.
My favorite.
Samwise...
Oh yeah, the thing that I didn't mention before, just as a nice note, recently, by the time of this recording, my country actually got a new translation of the books. And guess what? It's atrocious. They changed a lot of names and terms for the worst. That basically, to give an idea, with a rough minor transition of the name, Aragorn from a ranger, the term for ranger for Aragorn instead is transforming to the equivalent of forest guard. You know, like a park ranger, like Ranger Smith. So it sounds like he's doing that role for the story. Nobody
Oh
liked it.
boy. Sounds like Smeagol may be having some inner machinations.
Yeah, it's already a problem when Gollum wants to be malicious. It's another when Smeagol starts to give into abusive relationship.
Mm-mm.
Hmm. Well, maybe you don't have to do it. Oh,
Mm.
are you talking about by chance a model?
Sounds like it.
Maybe a model with a
Pair of
That's a joke.
legs.
That Dwebs, that's a joke tied to Middle Earth Shadow War, believe me. All right. And yeah, that's pretty much how the movie ends. It's quite somber, to be honest. Again, another transition point like the first one, but more with a more uncertainty. The heroes scored victories, sure, but it's not over yet, unfortunately, and you get the vibe that the worst is yet to come, which is what's gonna happen in eventually Return of the King. For now, final thoughts time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start first. It's fine. Like I said, like I pestered through the entire movie. The differences in this movie are the more plentiful compared to the other two. Yes, Return of the King also take some liberties as well. However, this one is the more we're more concentrated. You may see, as you may see. So there isn't the only moment of quote unquote stupidity that you may say, maybe Theoden being boisterous about Helm's Deep, but as he says, almost immediately it's for raising the morale of his troops. So that's purely descriptive as a speech. Speaking of Theoden, he's pretty much my favorite character of the entire movie. His arc that he goes through, and it's not particularly resolved. He's going to be finished in Return of the King as well. It's pretty solid. He has also this moment of grief when he has his funeral of his child, his son, Theodred. So that's kind of nice. I also kind of like the how Jackson portrays Rohan in a western, just with a more medieval setting, very more similar to something that you see something in Braveheart, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I will say maybe one other thing that Tigme may have been Gimli being used way too much as the comic relief. And spoiler alert, he doesn't get much better in the next movie. You can argue that also Legolas being constantly badass may be a hindrance. But to be fair, at least in this movie, he doesn't steal too many scenes. You can maybe say that there's only that scene where he uses the shield as a skateboard where it's going too much. But otherwise, he's still pretty restrained. No. That's the next movie where is the action for.
I thought you were going to say The Hobbit.
That too. Yeah, it's kind of funny. With each passing movie, Legolas become progressively more OP and stuff like that. But anyway, Eowyn is an absolute stalker. Like I guess after seeing this movie, keep in mind, like I said, I do annual marathon of this movie regularly. Then annual marathons of the series. But Eowyn is even more of a stalker than I remembered. Like, seriously, this whole idea of the triangle that she wants to create for Aragorn, combined with the actress' expressions, I really wonder if it became in just natural or Jackson directed her to be like this. Um, but that's also nice. The only real hindrances are just, like I said, the moment where the movie diverges way too much with the book. So essentially, half of the plot with Frodo and Sam, the kind of fuckage of the character of Faramir, poor bastard. Um, Sorry, that moment, that brief moment where the Ents are saying, "Oh no, we're not going to war, except we're totally going now." I hope that you cherish that tension like that, and the appearance of the elves at Elves Deep. I get that the fan complaint didn't improve the situation much, but honestly, I chalk that to Jackson not listening to what they actually wanted, and instead doing whatever he wanted, making them looking like the problem, and not the actual presence of the elves, the problem itself. But honestly, there are the stuff where the movie changes things where I don't mind, like say Eomer being the replacement of Erkenbrand, because again, in the book, Erkenbrand is pretty much a literal who. He's only been mentioned as this great marshal of of Rohan that then shows up at the end as more of like a mystery that gets unwrapped later. But aside from this, the movie is still pretty solid and contributes to me enjoying this trilogy as a whole for what it is and what it's supposed to be. So there's that. Jova, I guess.
All right, yeah, my final thoughts. This movie has aged in quite a few ways in my eyes. It used to be my second favorite of the trilogy. Now it's quite potentially my least favorite of the trilogy, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. The acting is still definitely phenomenal. The effects have aged very remarkably for their age for the most part here and there. Sure, you got a few uncanny valley areas here and there, but for the most part it looks pretty great. Of course, with Andy Serkis as Gollum,
Yeah.
he does a stellar job here and there. Frodo kind of gets a bit better, but still has sort of his own character issues, which were kind of brought on by Jackson. I'll probably dig more on that when we get to Return of the King, because at that point it's the culmination. But I think the best way to describe this movie is like, well, it definitely feels very transitional. As in like, well, okay, the first movie definitely felt like the optimum start, and the third movie will feel like the conclusive end. Whereas this one, I'll admit, for a good portion of time, it doesn't feel like a lot is getting done. Thankfully, what saves it from feeling like that is the final climax. Definitely one of my favorite scenes, if not one of my favorite, I guess I'll call it series of fights throughout the entire series itself. It's like, well, it's so cool how everything's getting done here and there, especially how two of the comic reliefs actually get a hit on Saruman with the help of the Ents. That was actually pretty great. It's actually very nice and rewarding to see that, yes, their actions actually do matter in the long run. I appreciate that. What I don't care for is the changes Jackson made that kind of make the story get a little too angsty, or characters that were normally jovial all of a sudden be, dark, grim, rarely ever smiling, the most terrible of lives here and there. Now, it's nice when they work through that. Like, Theoden is definitely one of the S-class characters for this one. Like, he has quite possibly the most vital of transitions in this movie that you'll see, and definitely does it quite remarkably. Props to the actor for that, too. It's very great to see Gandalf back in action and now officially leveled up to be a white magician, however the fudge that works, but whatever, it looks awesome. And he killed that
Believe it or not, if I
Balrog.
started explaining his backstory, we would be here all day.
Yeah. We'll just save the Hobbit for that.
Not even that, Jova. They give you the abridged version in that.
The point being is like, well, all the characters definitely get a nice time to shine here and there. While Gimli is definitely more the comic relief, I don't feel it's too bad. There was like only one or two times where I feel like maybe they made him a bit too much the comic relief, but I'll admit, honestly, it does help with the more grim attitude in this movie, and now there's definitely a lot of sorrow. That said, there's also its fair share of happy bits, like how the mother actually survives to get back to her two kids.
Yeah, it would have been easy for Jackson to just kill her off, even off screen, honestly, and
To
not
show
showing
the-
up. But
to show
you've
the-
actually bothered to include those 5 seconds where the kids get reunited, and you don't see them again after that anyway.
I guess you can say at least they got their own happy ending, if only being happy enough is that they are reunited again.
Yeah.
And props to that. And that said, we all know something devious this way comes going up at the end of the movie, so how can I describe this movie? I'd say for all the weaknesses it has, for the most part, they feel like necessary evils. I only think that it oversteps its boundary when it changes up characters for no reason, or kind of rob poor Arwen of a chance to, show up again. Seriously, who the fudge even was that elf guy? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice that they're trying to show the elves in a much wider light, but seriously, you couldn't have done that with Arwen? I mean, and granted... hold on, let me finish. And even if the fans were asking for that, maybe you could have had Arwen come alongside the guy, like... I don't know. I get that fans may have been demanding it, but I don't think Jackson handled it the best either. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, it was ultimately his decision on that, so I'd place the blame more on
Not to mention, Jova, I think it detracts from the entire message. It is supposed to be a battle for Rohan, a test of them trying to survive this immortal situation, this unmountable situation. The elves feels just the reason why the elves weren't in the original story of the book was purposely for this reason, to showcase. Remember what Elrond says in Fellowship of the Ring, that the elves are underestimated mankind. They're thinking that we're doomed, and that's why Aragorn needs to be there. The presence of the elves feel more just like a ruination of his message, if you ask me.
I think this is sort of why the story feels like
basically
the weakest here. I get that sometimes changes are going to be necessary for an adaptation, but a lot of these changes do feel unnecessary and in some ways do kind of hurt the matter of it. Granted, I guess... Okay, here's the thing. I would have liked this if only we saw more transition, because let's not forget, the last time we saw the elves en masse, they were all dickish and high and mighty, not counting Legolas's tribe. Apparently they're better elves, but you get what I mean. For the most part, we've seen the elves to be pretty much all high and mighty. Now all of a sudden they're here to help? That does seem like a bit of a weird transition, and not one
There
that
is
was
also
really
a potential
the best
problem with the characterization also in the books, because you pass from the Hobbit version of the elves of Rivendell, which are extremely jovial and even starts huge, super long songs that take up 2 or 3 pages to celebrate the Bilbo and the dwarves' arrival at Rivendell, to the ones now in Lord of the Rings that are super serial and then judgmental against the humans. There is actual dissonance.
I guess the idea is that something happened in The Hobbit to make them not as jovial in Lord of the Rings?
Well, it's the tonal shift, because unfortunately one of the problems that the Hobbit movie gets, and I will mention later, is the fact that the story of the Hobbit, it's supposed to be a much more light-hearted story compared to Lord of the Rings, and what Jackson didn't got this and treated it with the same seriousness of the Lord of the Rings movies, which is one of the things that ultimately damaged the product. But I will say more when we actually get to those movies.
Yeah,
so
that's
continue.
for another day. At the end of the day, I still do enjoy this movie, but I'll admit, if I were to do a marathon and if I had to skip one of the 3 movies, this would probably be the one I would skip if I had to pick one. Again, not saying I don't like it. I still do really like it. It's just that I do feel like, well, this is the closest I've ever felt to feeling the length of the runtime. And even still, I didn't really feel it that well. Props to Jackson for his pacing, man. So yeah, that's me on this movie. 2 Towers. It's a good movie. It's just the weakest of the 3. Glibs?
You actually has some introspection. Yeah, I actually do like this movie a lot. So yeah, I think it's better than the first movie in that while it was necessary, it did take a while to get going. So yeah, while the second movie could just go right along and continue on. And it's better than Nothing Return of the King, because it doesn't, one, the bloody 66 billion endings, and 2, there were quite a few bits that, even in the context of the movies, doesn't really make much sense, but I'll get to those when we get to those. But yeah, I mean, despite the ents, I did enjoy this. In my opinion, it's got the best action. It's got the best. It's got the best acting. It's got the best effects, and well, yeah. That's pretty much it for me. Yeah, I enjoy this movie the most out of the three, and again, it doesn't hurt that it doesn't have the same flaws 1 and 3 have.
In some ways it may be the most iconic of the three, despite it being the weakest of the three, in my opinion.
I don't remember which of the three sold the most, but
I think that was
I
Return of the King.
most likely, considering it had generated enough hype.
Hey,
Alright,
what's
that's
weird?
fair.
You know what's weird? It's like Lord of the Rings was the anti-Matrix, whereas Matrix sold great on the first film, but then after that started going downhill. They sold great on the first film and only went uphill.
Well,
Mhm.
if you make good movies, that's 90% bound to happen.
Yeah.
Alright then, so we will see you for Return of the King, the extended cut, which is gonna be the longest of these trilogies. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.